Shabbat Shalom. We are the keepers of the house of light. My name is Yehuda ben Israel. And to my left is brother
Uriah ben Israel.
Obadiah ben Israel.
Well, praise Yah, my brothers. Good to see you again. Shabbat Shalom.
Yes.
Shabbat Shalom, Elder.
Shabbat Shalom, my elder.
Praise Yah.
Hey, Shabbat Shalom, Deacon.
Praise Yah. You know, we're fresh off of Yahweh's, this part of Yahweh's feast days. Yahweh's blessed us, all of us, to have observed his Passover and the beginning of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. And we celebrated the Feast of First Fruits last night.
Still in first fruits.
It's still in First Fruits. I'm sorry. It started last night. I'm so sorry. We're still in First Fruits, so which is a Sabbath. And so it was a high holy day then, right? Is this a Sabbath? No, this is regular Sabbath, right?
Yeah, this is regular.
So we're in First Fruits still, the ingathering, but this is a regular Sabbath, a regular commanded Sabbath to keep, and it's just a blessing to be involved and have an understanding of these holy days and understand who we are as a people.
As you know, my elder, these holy days, they're like, you know, they can flow to any day of the week.
Right.
You know, yeah, and you know, that's basically it.
Well, like I said, you know, they're just not going through things robotically. Yahweh gave them to us for a purpose, to memorialize certain things. And that's why our class tonight, today, for discussion is part 2. It's Exodus, a nation out of a nation, part 2.
That's right.
What's that again? Exodus.
A nation out of a nation.
Say that again, brother.
Exodus, a nation out of a nation.
Praise God. Because we have to understand that's what Yahweh did with our forefathers. He put them in among the most powerful nation at the time, Egypt, right? Or Mizraim, or as the Egyptians call themselves, Kemet, and an incubator to grow his people.
You know what? Literally, yeah. I was thinking of an egg.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And Yahweh put them there. You know, put Joseph in, put that spirit on yourself, as we studied, right? And raised him up for that purpose. He's second in command.
He didn't have no choice. His brothers sold him.
Right.
They didn't know. They thought they was doing good in spite.
Right.
Not understanding that Yahweh had that goal planned out for good, to save life.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. You know, they did it for evil.
Right.
And Joseph broke it down to them, but Yahweh did it for good. You know? So I can say not only lies here in Egypt, but your lies to preserve the nation, preserve Yaakov's seed, and bring it forth. And Yahweh moved Pharaoh, because the book says Joseph said, I'm like a father,
right,
a counselor to Egypt, Pharaoh. So when I say something, because look, everything that brother said is coming to pass.
Of course.
So Pharaoh's not stupid. Some people can take good counsel.
Right.
You can see the wisdom in the spirit.
Some people appreciate having good counselors.
That's right.
Yeah. David had counselors.
That's right.
He had many counselors.
Yeah.
Even when his son Absalom took the city, he sent one of his counselors or his advisors unto his son.
Right.
I said, go corrupt that counselor, because they know you will.
Right. Well, you cannot run a country, an empire, without having wise men with you in your administration. You think these the Gentiles here in America, Europeans, they came out structured. Humanity always has structure. It's always, at this point in time, it's like, with a radical stiff-necked people here in America as captives, a lot of times we buck at structure in organization. And I give you some, now I'm gonna do it this way. And then that's not a wise move. That's violating the law. You might get in trouble with the IRS with your finances. Now, this guy told me I'm a sovereign citizen, and I can do it this way. That's Wesley Snipes then about it. He had counsel. He had intelligent people, but he took the counsel of an X over Y. And now you find yourself not only got to pay the money back,
Mm.
then they're going to demand 3 years or so out of your life to incarcerate you. See, Mama said, well, she tell me, well, son, a bought lesson is the best lesson. Sometimes you got to pay with flesh and skin and money and heartbreak. Now you paid it. Now you understand. You purchased that. Now it belongs to you. Because if I'm giving you free counsel, you may not value that.
Right. Right.
You know?
Some people are like that.
Right. And so that's why when you go to professionals, lawyers, etc., look, pay me. I'm not going to sit, because if I give you some free legal advice, you know what? You're not going to accept it. You're going to look at it like it's nothing. Right? Bring your $10,000 in here and sit down, and we'll talk about it.
Well, they'll appreciate it more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, they'll value it more.
Well, I paid a lot of money. You know.
Ain't that something though that people put value on the things that they spend money on, or that they can purchase or attain, but the free things that were given to us, like you got your sight, you got your hearing, you got your smell. These simple things that we take for granted, Yahweh gave those things freely, and those things are worth more than the stuff that you break something that you bought, you can repay it.
Right.
But how do you deal with your hearing? Once Yahweh take that, so it's the free things really have more value.
Exactly. And this word that we have been given, you know that Yeshua had to pay a price. But now we don't have to pay that price. Right. It's given to us freely. Freely was given to me. So freely I'm going to give it to you.
And freely I'm going to give it to you.
And so forth and so on. Now whether, again, like you said yesterday, whether they hear or forbear, whether they hear and say, I hear value in that. That sounds like the truth. That sounds like something we need to, I've never heard that before. You're telling me that we're children of Israel? Black people? In America? That can't be. Because we don't have nothing. The people that are Jewish, they white people. And they rolling. They got the land, they got money, they got clout. And matter of fact, we have to honor them and their experiences that they've had, you know, which were tragic. But now, as for our experiences, well, who cares about you being your forefathers being enslaved for 250 years? Who cares about your forefathers being sold as chattel? Because everybody was involved in selling your people, the Jewish people, the Europeans, the Africans. And there's a book that's entitled The Empire of Cotton. And it's a great read because the author, a Jewish Harvard professor, historian, he breaks down and shows you how that the slave trade and cotton is how we got capitalism moving. Yeah. He goes into deep analysis. It's a read, and he how all the nations benefited. Everybody's making money off of Israel, just like the scriptures say they would. Right?
They crafty counsel against Israel.
Right.
Oh,
everybody got rich.
Big time.
Right. Everybody got rich off of us.
Yes.
And we were scattered into all the nations, even among the Native American tribes here, to prove that Yahweh's word is true. The scripture said you're going to be scattered among the heathen, among all nations.
That's right.
The Europeans in America trained up the Choctaw, the Chickasaw, the Creek,
You name it.
the Creek and Seminole, and all those. They taught them because they said they were the 5 civilized tribes, right? And they worked with them, and they had treaties with them, right? Where they would, if the slaves escaped, they would bring them back.
They bring them back. That's right.
Yeah. And if they had to kill them, they would scalp them.
Well, now hold on, Elder. Does that not conflict with this doctrine of these brothers saying that that the Native Americans are part of our tribe? Because the law, according to the law, if you catch a servant or a slave running away from his master, you're not supposed to bring him back to him.
No.
See, so that conflicts Yahweh's law.
Well, yeah, exactly.
So your brothers would do that to you,
right? You know, and that's foolishness. You know, what was the tribe here in Georgia? The biggest one. Did I name it? It was the Creek, Choctaw, Chickasaw, and the Seminole. But the main one was the main one here in Georgia. The Trail of Tears. my mind,
Wrong, black woman.
the Cherokee.
Cherokee. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. From that book. From that book. Red over black.
Yeah, it's mentioned that discusses it. And there's a lot of literature out there. But our fathers were enslaved by these groups, and we sometimes these tribes. We sometimes say, "Oh, my great grandmama and them were, your great grandmama and them were slaves of the Cherokee. They were owned. They were property of the Cherokee, and they had, Okay, you're gonna hold up so we can see it then.
Yeah.
That's a book, Red Over Black Slavery Among the Cherokee Indians.
Give it to Ella. Give it the shot of short a little bit.
What about that? That show there?
Yeah.
It shows better?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And this is a book, Black Slavery, right? So, and this is about the Cherokee. The Choctaw owned us, on our fathers. The Creek owned us. The Chickasaw and the Seminoles. And during the Civil War, the Cherokee had a constitution. They had two constitutions. If you don't believe it, go get the Constitution of the Cherokee, right? And they clearly state in there that black slaves, the Negro, you could not be a member of the nation.
That's right.
And they expressly said that outlawed Cherokee men to marry black women, right? Not to say that they had a couple instances of that, but the Cherokee were very clear. Said, look, they were very clear in the writings to say, look, we're not messing. Our blood is not mingled with that of slaves. So they made sure that. So now you're going to come along and make yourself a Cherokee. I got good hair. I've heard all that stuff. But when you go down to the research, it's something different.
Totally different.
It's totally different. So when the Civil War started, who do you think those nations, those 5 tribes I mentioned, nations, who they sided with in the Civil War? Because they had plantations and slaves.
Yeah.
They sided with the South, the Confederacy.
Of course.
They fought on the side of the South. And they got a letter where the president of the Confederacy writing letters to them saying, look, we got a lot in common. We're going to maintain our way of life.
Yep.
So, again, most of our people just don't have the knowledge because we don't run these schools. We don't. Our memory. It's something wrong with our memory. That things that happen so brutalized to us, post-traumatic stress disorder, that we can't even talk about what has happened to our people.
Well, the Japanese, after they were held inside of the prison camps up here, they did not receive counseling.
Yeah, they got counseling, reparations,
and everybody who's gone through traumatic situations, basically, I'm saying they've received counseling for it.
Exactly.
These lowly Negroes, we can't. And then now, is it a surprise that we as men find it hard to communicate amongst one another amongst issues?
Right.
I saw something this morning and it showed a child, and she said, "Well, yeah, y'all grown. Y'all say y'all grown, but until it comes time to apologize, or until it comes time to communicate." It's a child saying it.
Wow.
But it resonated so heavy because it's something that we have an issue with.
And see, man, brother, that's what I'm saying. We have to get a lot of these things is getting knowledge and getting information, real history. Yeah. See, you don't know what's going on in heavenly things, but Yahweh gave you a brain so you can pick up a book and study. And read about certain things. This brother has a book. I got certain other level. I'm from. That's what I want to pursue things because I never understood why we were in the condition that we were in. Historically, I knew about slavery, but why we can't get it right. But again, when you read now, when I came into the truth, I have synthesis. It's a synergy. It makes sense now, right? It makes sense. From the spiritual. It makes a lot of sense. Why we're hated so. So now we're going into this book, a nation out of a nation. And so y'all, we were a nation of people. We're still a people. We're not random colors, complexions, and bywords. Negro, and colored, and black, African American. What is that?
You know what I heard? I mean, that's Yahweh's word coming to pass. But I was
meditating
I was meditating on Malcolm X had a speech. Who are you? You know that speech he did?
Yeah.
It was a short snippet. But they, I wish I could play it. You know, but basically he was asking the people, where you come from? Why don't you know where you come from?
Mm-hmm.
What was your religion? What language did you speak? He was asking questions.
Right.
From that time.
Right.
So now, and still to this day, you have some people who don't ask those questions.
Right.
You know. So it's.
And, oh man, I'm glad you brought up Brother Malcolm, because a lot of people, well, I'm a Hebrew, and I said, listen, Yahweh do what he want to do.
Yeah.
Those were Yahweh's, those were princes among our people.
That's right.
Martin Luther King, Malcolm. You know what I mean? We got a whole cadre of black men, Marcus Garvey, all kind of brothers that were fighting. You wouldn't even be where you were or now, went for these cats.
True.
Now you just you don't come into the truth. Now you're gonna you know, that used to like rub me the wrong way. You haven't done nothing for the people. But you're gonna sit here, what have you done?
On the levels
that these brothers did, that Yahweh put them on to do these things.
Right.
You can't hold that man cup. A hat. You know, that's my mindset. That's just me. Yeah, too big, but you couldn't be in that position.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's gonna they murdered him, assassinated him.
Right.
And King. That's right. See, we are. Let's not get so. Well, he delivered, he misled. No, how can you mislead Yahweh's people when Yahweh's people were being beat down left and right? We were already Christians.
Okay.
We were already. That's all we were Christians mostly.
That's right.
And throw in the Islamic, you know, some other little things, but that's what we were.
Well, you know what, Ellen?
The Spirit took this comment before I can get back to reading. But
I know I'm not going to hold
no, but go ahead, bro.
Time. But the question is, when are people going to recognize what is our righteousness? Because that is the key, you know, to take us out of this nonsense.
Right.
What they're doing to us.
Right. Right. And I think that, and again, you have to take our righteousness is His word. True enough. But before you can. You've had the book with us under the auspices of slave masters. But again, I can't knock our fathers in America because they got what Yahweh gave them. That's right. But they taught you morals, right and wrong. They knew they were being mistreated by the dominant society here. They always tell you, you know, they gave you common sense how to stay alive. That's right. Among these people, the best way they could. And two, how to carry yourself. And you got along. And so I'm not saying the good old days, I'm talking about look at your history. You got to look at your history. We can't come up here in the 21st century and talk about the brothers that came before us and sisters and mothers that came before us like they nothing.
That's the mindset of our people. They look at the tree and they see the leaves, the flowers, but what about the roots?
It's about the root, bro.
Yeah.
That's a good
You can't
point.
see the roots.
Good metaphor. Right.
See,
that's what's holding you down now.
Yeah. If you look why should you know your roots? They're going to be a problem. They're going to be like more killing. If you look at our parents, the way they taught us, things that they taught us is like, you're going to do this so you can get through with life. Because, don't refuse. Do what the other nation, order you to do or instruct you to do.
They wanted us to survive.
They want us to remain alive. But even though it's a good advice, it helps to build our nation until that time comes. Then we start to look back on our roots. And now is the time for us to start, pursuing our roots.
Well, that brings us back to the class.
Yeah.
In nation, Exodus, a nation out of a nation. Because the children of Israel didn't revolt. They got locked down immediately. When they took wise counsel against them. And the next thing you know, they're in captivity. They're being afflicted. Right? So if that was the case, we had revolts in America, but they didn't amount to nothing. Because you couldn't throw them out. So Yahweh said He's going to redeem you. So, but that doesn't mean, I can't tell. I've read Malcolm's book. I've read, I've done all these things. You read. And you're supposed to. Why wouldn't you have national pride in who you are? Why are you going to walk around here? You already been beat down. So now you're telling me I'm supposed to look at brothers and sisters who stood up in the face of overwhelming odds and violence.
Could we have done that?
See, that's my point.
Amongst those, in those circumstances,
no, you're not built like
we're freely able to do.
Right, you're not built like that. Your fathers were stronger than you. Yeah. Your fathers and mothers were stronger than you.
You give credit where it's due.
Give credit where it's due.
Yeah.
And that's why you say, Yahweh get all the glory, but Yahweh had strengthened them to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? You can't even walk down the street today without one of your thug brothers and sisters, in one sense of the word, because they're terrorizing the community.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
But see, now the elders are not there. There's nobody there to pull them around. But maybe that's what Yahweh said.
Yeah.
What's going to happen in these latter days.
They shall be like a wild bull in the net.
Exactly, in the streets.
Yeah.
The young men.
Yeah.
Full of the wrath of Yahweh.
That's
Of course.
Right? Full of the wrath. Full of the wrath. So now, what you said, brother, we got to come back to our beginnings. Because, how you going to sit, I'm on it. How you going to sit here and belittle even anybody's not sitting 48, but even those at the musical, most of these people were getting their bond money. It was those entertainers. They put that money, A.G. Gaston, insurance company on it. They were putting that money behind the scene, bailing out those brothers,
That's right.
financing it.
Okay.
That we were a people.
That's right. They moved as a network.
As a network. That segregation was at that time, that was critical because we could move, we had to have our own businesses, our own doctors, our own hospitals, our own insurance companies, everything.
Yeah.
You see, so we were a nation within a nation, a segregated nation.
Correct.
See where we're going? That's what you are here right now.
Correct.
You in the second Egypt.
Yep.
House of bondage.
You're in the house of bondage right now.
Oh, okay.
You're a nation within a nation. So I want the people to understand when we're reading, Yahweh had already said he's going to do this. This was going to happen to us. So now, let's segue, let the brother do the reading, at least, so we can get the class started. But praise God for the Spirit. Because sometimes the Spirit wants to talk about certain other things.
Okay. That's right. That's
Not to glorify the dead, but we have respect for our fathers.
That's right.
That we have respect for Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Correct. Correct. I was always taught to respect my elders.
That's right.
It's,
They don't want you to honor nobody.
Thank you, my elder.
Praise.
All right. You know the drill already. We're going to be turning to the book of Deuteronomy because we want to see these great commandments.
Right.
And the instruction of them. And the great instruction, the Shema, is found in Deuteronomy 6, verse 4 and 5.
Praise God.
Verse 4. Hear, O Israel, Yahweh, our Elohim, is one other name. There's only one God.
Praise God.
Not 2, 3, or 4. Just one God. Verse 5. And thou shalt love Yahweh thy Elohim with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might.
Praise God.
Let me take you to Matthew 22. And see our big brother, how he magnified these great commandments.
Okay.
Verse 34. But when the Pharisees had heard that he had put the Sadducees to silence, they were gathered together. Then one of them, which was a lawyer, asked him a question, tempted him, and saying, Master, which is the great commandment in the law? Yeshua said unto him, Thou shalt love Yahweh thy Elohim with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hangs all the law and the prophet.
Praise God.
Yeah, so that is the Shema. Let me take you to the book of Matthew, 18, chapter 18, only one verse, 20. For where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them.
Hallelujah.
Praise Yahweh. We don't have to have, a million square feet of building.
All right.
We don't need that.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
Our body is the vessel that is built, to hold the word of the Most High Yah.
Praise God.
Praise God.
Let's take it to the prophet now. Isaiah 58, verse 13. One of our great prophet, by Yahweh, that he used the foretold things. Verse 13. If thou turn away thy foot from the Shabbat, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, and call the Shabbat a delight, the holy of Yahweh, honorable, and shall honor him, not doing thine own ways, nor finding thine own pleasure, nor speaking thine own words, then shalt thou delight thyself in Yahweh, and I will cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth, and feed thee with the heritage of Jacob thy father, for the mouth of Yahweh has spoken it.
Man, praise Yah for that, brother, Elder Uriah. And again, we're the keepers of the house of light. We're dedicated to spreading the righteousness and love, mercy, and forgiveness of our Father, Yahweh Elohim of hosts, by and through his Son, Yahshua HaMashiach, or Yahshua the Messiah, who is the Lamb of Yahweh, and Yahshua is our Passover.
That's correct.
The King of Israel, because he is of the seed of David, the rightful a king, Yahweh's servant. So he has the right to ascend to the throne.
That's right.
He's the actual seed of David,
Right.
and he is now sitting on the right hand of majesty, waiting for Yahweh the Father to make his enemies his footstool, and soon I pray that he will establish his kingdom in this earth.
Praise
Man. It's coming. But not only is the King of Israel,
He's that first fruit.
he's the first fruit, exactly, of a new creation. We discussed that last night.
That's right.
But he, so that's what we're hoping to get, that body, that eternal, immortal body, that spiritual body. And since that he has that new body, that spiritual body, he can make intercession for us forever. He's not going to die. He's not of the Aaronic priesthood. He's of a never-ending priesthood, the Melchizedek priesthood. So he's the high priest of Israel and this world.
So time and space have no bearing in him.
None. So but the beauty of it, as Saul was writing, he knows our infirmities. He knows, because he was a man. He was born of a woman. So he knows he was tempted. He went through the same things that we have gone through.
Correct.
But he did not sin. Right? And then once that spirit was upon him, he carried out that which was written of him to redeem his people, the gospel. Then he redeemed us by voluntarily giving his life. So in substitution for yours.
Correct.
You're supposed to be laid out somewhere, dealing with your own sin, right? Because there will be no covering for your sin. Because that sin, that animal sacrifice, wasn't going to change your heart. No. It wasn't going to make you holy.
Nope.
And acceptable to Yahweh in perpetuity, right? So Yahshua had to come out.
That's right.
He had to do it. And he did his job. Praise Yah for him. And we thank him because he's our Redeemer and our Savior. Our kinsman Redeemer.
That's right.
You know what? Yeah, that thing just came to my mind, man. It was like, if the animal that could talk, I mean, the animal said, hey, what you doing? What are you doing?
Right.
I'm out here grazing my grass. I'm minding my own business. I haven't done anything to you guys. Why you guys want to take me into your own foolishness? Leave me alone.
Right. But only by the shedding of blood is there remission of sin.
Correct.
Yeah.
So the innocent, that's why we look at Yahshua, the innocent Lamb of Yahweh.
Correct.
He didn't do nothing.
The Lamb of Yah. That's what Yahweh said when he saw him come.
Yeah.
So these are the things. So let Yahshua's name be blessed forever. And what we're here to do is to teach and proclaim the gospel of Yahshua, who magnifies the law and makes it righteous. And we have to understand all things point to Yahshua HaMashiach. Yeah, you may not be a Christian. Yahweh, that's not what Yahweh gave us. That's not Yahshua was Christian. But think about it. The Christians got a little understanding. They know they calling on Jesus the wrong name. And he's not, and of course he's a Gentile, but they got a little understanding from this book. This Messiah, this Christ, this Christos, this anointed brother, this is it. You got to go through him. Your circumcision ain't gonna do you no good.
Correct. Nope.
If you're not washed in the blood of Mashiach. Your knowledge of Hebrew and the languages. You can speak, if it's possible, you can be speaking the same language that Moshe spoke. But it ain't gonna do you no good if you're not washed up.
That heart's not circumcised.
That heart not circumcised, so what? So what? You're gonna be speaking Hebrew in the lake of fire. You're gonna be doing all that stuff in the lake of fire, looking confused. Because he's gonna tell you.
Get away from me.
What is it?
Get
What are you gonna tell you, right? Get thee from me.
I never
knew you. You worker of iniquity. You worker of lawlessness. So that law, you got to keep the commandment. But it's the weightier matters of the law that Yahshua is concerned about, your heart.
You know, I just say that, like, I'm glad you say that. It's something I meditate. My little daughter said something to me. And I remember hearing her say this, even to her mother, that we see people, their sins are outright in front of them. So you might see someone that goes according to what Yahweh's laws deems as it pertains to man and woman. Right? Okay, so you see that openly. So we know what they struggle with.
Right.
But you don't see the sins of the other people. So I don't know what like you don't know what I may struggle with or what someone else may struggle with, but we'll speak out and condemn them. Right. And their sins are open for the people to see. So what about what about the sins that we deal with that nobody can see?
Hidden in the closet. Right. That's what they say.
You know, it's a meditation.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's why, my elder always said, even your thoughts are living entities.
That's right.
So you have to cover for that too when you think in the incorrect direction. You have to ask for forgiveness for those things too, those thoughts, those evil thoughts too.
That's right.
Yeah.
Praise God. Good point, man. You know, it kind of reminds you of, we're very fast to point out the wrong that others do. They have done even to us, to others. Point that out. I said, okay, that's fine. And there's in the scripture and the gospels tell you how to go about resolving conflict. And if particularly with your brother and your sister, well, if you're in a congregation or a body, but it doesn't matter. You're supposed to. You go to that brother. You have some witnesses with you. We ignore that. Hey, brother, there's been some conflict. I brought these two brothers with me, but hey, man, what did I do? Etc. We've been, you said this about me, whatever it may be. But there's a way that you can reconcile and show Yahweh through his son Yahshua that you have made every attempt to reconcile. He said, well, if you can't get it, if they don't want to hear you then you take it to the body. No, you go to if you're in a congregation somewhere, or you go to some elders, people, you bring it to a body with elders somewhere. But brother, if that's how y'all roll. But you do the best you can and say, listen, I've been trying to, but if he don't want to hear you, then you're good, because the book says, let him be like a what? A heathen to you.
Yeah.
Because you don't get everything you could. He don't want to hear you. You don't want to reconcile. But at least you are doing your best.
You make that step forward.
To make that step. Because if they don't want to talk to you, you can't make people not want to reconcile.
That's correct.
But if you made the overt steps with the right spirit in you to resolve things, you know what I mean? But I think that's like you said, but we don't know what's in the heart of somebody. And I think people they can look at your countenance. And we discussed this the other day. Brother was on the phone talking to me. He said, well, I might look at some people might look at me and mistake my countenance. I love you, brother, but I can't read you, Yehuda. I can't, but well, brother, don't be looking at my face. Listen to what I say and look at what I do. If I say something crazy to you, well, now you got a point. If I do something that's out of the ordinary or disrespectful to you or others, now you got to, that brother why he do that? Let's go talk to him. But just because somebody looking somewhere, you don't know what's going on in their mind. You don't know what their heart. They could be thinking about their mama. They could be thinking about all kinds of things. They could be thinking about Satan. The enemy got to bring a bad memory to them at that very moment. And they sitting there thinking like, or they think about, you know what? I could have been killed. They're there in the church, sitting there reflecting on something. Man, it's a miracle that I'm even here on the Sabbath. You know, I'm supposed to have been dead. What I went through 7 years ago or something. You know, they sitting there thinking about something. How did I make it? I'm supposed to have been dead. How did I get out of that? How did I get out that house when they were in there shooting? How did I make it out that car wreck? How did I make it out that war zone in the military? You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
I didn't get one scratch on me. And I had my friends, people I know died. You know, you don't know what folks going through. So stop trying to read their mind. Focus on what you know you doing wrong.
That's right.
What's going on in your struggle. Get the beam out your eye.
That's right.
That's right. Man.
That's the first thing first. You know what you're thinking about, right?
Now we're in the days of unleavened, so this is what it's all about.
That's it.
It's all about.
Yeah, get that beam out your eye.
Yes.
Get that leaven out of you.
First, we have to cleanse what you
Yeah,
know.
get the leaven out your eye.
That's right.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Y'all, we don't want you defiling yourself, but he gives you, it's how it's a new year, and we go in these beautiful holy days,
Correct.
but he's giving you a chance to rethink and analyze yourself.
Right.
And you got to tell nobody about what you're doing. That's between you and your Elohim.
Right.
Yeah.
That's between you and Elohim. You might talk to some people, that's fine. But you know what? That's a beautiful thing. And then down the line, Yom Kippur coming up. Day of Atonement. So we got, Yahweh has set up things, even with the eternal blood of Christ, Yahshua. All that, but all these things are still, they're important to keep.
Yeah.
Because they keep reminding you.
He gives you the way to save yourself and to redeem yourself.
Right.
But then at the same time, if you don't keep what it is, the order that Yahweh's giving you the instruction, he's also giving you a rope to hang yourself.
Oh,
well said.
Well said. Well said.
You know, we said a shadow of things to come. We know that you cannot have a shadow without a body.
Okay.
Just look at that for a minute or two.
Right.
Let it digest a little, you know.
Definitely. Well, brothers, you know what? Yahweh is doing what he wants us to do. And I just want to be a willing vessel. So let's go ahead and, I guess, but this is what this is all about. We're not here just reading out the book.
Correct.
We do what the Spirit moves us to do. You know, excuse me. What the Spirit moves us to do. And that may be discussing these issues. But again, we started from the book of Exodus last Shabbat. And we ended in chapter 4. But what we're going to do, we're going to start today, we're going to go back to chapter 3 because we want to go there again. We think it's very important. And we're going to let the brother read. Uriah, you begin that. We're in the book of Exodus, chapter 3. And if you didn't, again, we're going to reread this because listen, and then we're going to keep moving through the grace of Yahweh.
Okay. Exodus chapter 3, verse 1. Now Moshe kept the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the backside of the desert and came to the mountain of Elohim, even to Horeb. And the angel of Yahweh appeared unto him in a flame of fire out of the midst of the bush. And he looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire, and the bush was not consumed. And Moshe said, I will now turn aside and see this great sight, why the bush is not burned. And when Yahweh saw that he turned aside to see, Elohim called unto him out of the midst of the bush, and said, Moshe, Moshe. And he said, Here am I. And he said, Draw not near, neither put off thy shoe from off thy feet, for the place whereon thou standest is holy ground. Yahweh made that location holy unto him at that time. Verse 6. Moreover, he said, I am the Elohim of thy father, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Isaac, and the Elohim of Jacob. And Moshe hid his face, for he was afraid to look upon Elohim. And Yahweh said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people which are in Egypt, and have heard their cry by reason of their taskmasters. For I know their sorrows, and I am come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptian, and to bring them up out of that land unto a good land, and unto a land flowing with milk and honey, unto the place of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites. Now therefore, behold, the cry of the children of Israel is come unto me, and I have also seen the oppression wherewith the Egyptian oppressed them. Come now therefore, and I will send thee unto Pharaoh, that thou mayest bring forth my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt.
Hallelujah.
Praise Yah. And Moshe said unto Elohim, Who am I, that I should go unto Pharaoh, and that I should bring forth the children of Israel out of Egypt? And he said, Certainly I will be with thee, and this shall be a token unto thee, that I have sent thee, when thou hast brought forth the children of Let me read that over. I'm sorry about that. Verse 12. And he said, Certainly I will be with thee, and this shall be a token unto thee, that I have sent thee, when thou hast brought forth the people out of Egypt. You shall serve Elohim upon this mountain. And Moshe said unto Elohim, Behold, when I come unto the children of Israel, and shall say unto them, The Elohim of your fathers hath sent me unto you, and they shall say to me, What is his name? What shall I say unto them? Let me take a pause for a minute there. I want you to take certain things into consideration as we continue to read out of the chapter. But Deacon Hobie, can you look up the meaning of the word name? Because I know there are several meanings. Well, we have to take that into consideration, especially this book that we are reading, the book of Exodus.
Yes, sir. All right.
Yeah. I know names are very important, because when we name, our children, we try to give them a good meaning.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
The name is very important.
All right, Ella. So this summation at the beginning, it says names of Elohim. Doesn't give name plural or singular. So it says the name of Elohim holds an important key to understanding the doctrine of Elohim and the doctrine of revelation. The name of Elohim is a personal disclosure and reveals his relationship with his people.
That's fine.
His name is known only because he chooses to make it known. To the Hebrew mind, Elohim was both hidden and revealed, transcendent and immanent.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he was mysterious, lofty, and unapproachable, he bridged the gap with mankind by revealing his name. And then lastly, the truth of Elohim's character, where it says God's character, is focused in his name.
That's right.
The divine name reveals God's power, authority, and holiness.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful, man. And we do know that the word name derived from the Hebrew word Shem. Okay? So let's keep those things into consideration as we proceed, the rest of the reading in the book of Exodus.
Great.
Okay, let me continue. Verse 14. And Elohim said unto Moshe, I am that I am. And he said, Thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, I am, hath sent me unto you. Praise Yah for that.
Praise Yah.
Let's look at what verse 14 is saying, a little bit deeper. Because we know folks out there, they have a lot of names. We have a lot of names floating all over the place. One of the names that, that's kind of sticking in my mind sometimes is this word. They said, his name is Ahaya. But I said, where do you get that word from? Ahaya. Is there anything, you can say or bring to me on the table to prove that his name is Ahiah? It couldn't be Ahiah, because in their same language, the word Ahiah just means I am that I am. Look in here, I am that I am is not a name. It is a title. But we get along further into it as we read, the following more chapters, of Exodus. Verse 15. And Elohim said, moreover, unto Moshe, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, Yahweh Elohim of your father, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Jacob, and the Elohim of Esau, has sent me unto you. This is my name forever, and this is my memorial unto all generations. So we see here in verse 15 that he gave our forefathers his name then in verse 15, not in verse 14. We know that they replaced the name of the Most High, and we're going to get into that. Anywhere they put they said it was too sacred. Correct. So they replaced it with uppercase the Lord. So anywhere you see uppercase L-O-D, it just means Yahweh. Right. Not verse 14, where he said, I am that I am. I am that I am is a title.
So so the word is valid. It's a Hebrew word.
Yeah.
So we have a point of discussion to understand how someone would come to that. But that's not a name. Like you say. So that's like if a man say Allah and God. It will just mean God.
It just mean God. This is a main title.
Correct.
Allah is just mean God. That's the word for God in Arabic. Yeah. That's basically it. Okay? We're going to get a little deeper into it as we proceed. Verse 16?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We're in the book of Exodus 3, verse 16. Go and gather the elders together and say unto them, Yahweh Elohim of your fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Isaac, and the Elohim of Jacob, appear unto me, saying, I have surely visited you, and seen that which is done to you in Egypt. And I have, verse 17, and I have said, I will bring you up out of the affliction of Egypt unto the land of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, unto a land flowing with milk and honey. And they shall hearken to thy voice, and thou shalt come, thou and the elders of Israel, unto the king of Egypt, and you shall say unto him, Yahweh Elohim of the Hebrews has met with us, and now let us go. We beseech thee 3 days' journey into the wilderness, that we may sacrifice to Yahweh our Elohim. And I sure that the king of Egypt will not let you go, no, not by a mighty hand. So Yahweh have to use his hand in this mission. Verse 20. And I stretch out my hand and smite Egypt with all my wonders, which I will do in the midst thereof, and afterward that he will let you go. And I will give this people favor in the sight of the Egyptian, and it shall come to pass that when you go, you shall not go empty. But every woman shall borrow of his neighbor, and of her that sojourneth in her house, jewels of silver, and jewels of gold, and raiment. And you shall put them upon your sons, and upon your daughters, and you shall spoil the Egyptian.
Thank you. Praise God. So when you read this, those last, that they were enslaved. They were not in the type of slavery that our fathers here in the Americas were involved in. This is the worst type of slavery ever known. We were involved in hardcore chattel slavery. Here, in verse 22, it says, but every woman shall borrow of her neighbor. So they were in proximity with the Egyptian people, as you can see.
Correct.
They were in the land of Goshen, but the Egyptians did not just give that whole, they were there as well. So you can see that this is a different type of affliction. They became the hewers of wood and choppers of, hewers of wood and gatherers of water for the Egyptians. They built certain treasure cities for them. They didn't build all the pyramids. The scripture, Egypt was old, even by the time they got there, old civilization. But the point is, we have a God, an Elohim. And it says in verse 18 that the Lord God of the Hebrews. So Yahweh has manifested and grown his people in that incubation of captivity in Egypt to bring forth what he had promised Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So now you got a nation of people they know who their forefathers are, but they have not had that experience or interaction to know Yahweh. You see what I'm saying? They had not known. They had not seen him, heard him. They know they know the Hebrews.
Right.
But now Yahweh's getting ready to manifest himself to his people and to the world at this time.
Yeah. So it's kind of similar to the situation here in this Egypt.
Right. Same way.
Yeah.
But they call and they have understood the Lord, the God. They got the Bible. They understand, but Yahweh has not manifested himself to all of us, and he certainly hasn't manifested himself in the way that he did in ancient Egypt at this point in time. And hopefully we'll be alive to see Yahweh work those works, but again, this is where this is a historical book, So let's continue, Brother Obadiah,
all right,
into chapter 4, and let's see what Moshe is going to be dealing with right now.
Right. Exodus chapter 4, verse 1. And Moshe answered and said, but behold, they will not believe me, nor hearken unto my voice, for they will say, Yahweh has not appeared unto thee. And Yahweh said unto him, what is that in thine hand? And he said, a rod. And he said, cast it on the ground. And he cast it on the ground, and it became a serpent. And Moshe fled from before it. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, put forth thine hand, and take it by the tail. And he put forth his hand, and caught it, and it became a rod in his hand. That they may believe that Yahweh, Elohim of their fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Isaac, and the Elohim of Jacob, has appeared unto thee. And Yahweh said furthermore unto him, put now thine hand into thine bosom. And he put his hand into his bosom, and when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous as snow. And he said, put thine hand into thy bosom again. And he put his hand into his bosom again, and plucked it out of his bosom, and behold, it was turned again as his other flesh.
What's the miracle in that? He's a white man, right? Moshe is Caucasian. Moshe is a pale white man, right?
But they thought he was Pharaoh's
So
grandson.
what's the miracle in that? I'm asking you. I'm asking you.
How could he pass as Pharaoh's grandson?
Well, I guess the next question is, who are the Egyptians as a people?
Right.
Let's build up now.
Well, they're a dark-skinned race of people.
Right.
That's right.
We understand that Joseph,
When
Joseph was inside the land, and his brother as the governor in the land, and his brothers came, they couldn't even recognize him.
That's
So
true.
he had to favor the Egyptians.
Right.
That's right.
Also, at the burial, when they were going to bury their father, the people in the land that saw them, they said, look, this is a great morning for the Egyptians.
They did say that.
So we favored the Egyptians were basically Ethiopians.
Right.
So we favored the Ethiopians. And Ethiopia is a Greek word which means burnt faced.
That's correct.
That's right. That's
So
right, brother.
that gives a physical description of the people. So we know they were dark-skinned people.
Right.
And then they got the hieroglyphics on the wall that are still there to this day.
Exactly.
And they painted themselves as dark-skinned people.
Right.
So there was
Right.
no doubt as to who or what color the Egyptians were.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when the Europeans, not Alexander the Great, but those others down the line, well after that, Napoleon and other Europeans, when they began to colonize and enslave
Mm-hmm.
black people. When they went into Egypt was the prize. And they went into Egypt and it's not by chance. They were confused. They were shocked. They're explorers. Their archaeology was created. Egyptology, I should say. Egyptology, from my study, was a field of study that was created to disprove the African origins of ancient Kemet or ancient Egypt or ancient Mizraim. That's why they were there. They were never there to just get truth and do objective research. They were there trying to disprove that these were not black people. And they created various theories. The black skin, white, they used the term Hamite. Right? They would say Hamite.
Yep.
And they used that term to say the Hamite is a white man with black features, a dark-skinned white man. So they started doing everything. They started turning things around.
Right.
And then next thing you know, the Sphinx nose is gone.
Right.
All type of statues, nose, lips, defaced. He said, well, why is that? What's going on? Well, I've had opportunity to go see the King Tut tour of museum when he came here some years ago. And a friend of mine had gotten tickets and we went there and he did security. And first thing they did to you, when you go there, they showed you a video. And the video was describing Egypt and what's going on. And they got those people painted on the little video, cartoon, anime, white people. They get your mind before you go even see the exhibit.
Yeah.
So they got your mind thinking one way.
Right.
Yeah.
You're seeing this.
Yeah.
Then when you go into the exhibit, being a conscious brother, being coming out of a Pan-Africanist mindset, coming out of an Afrocentric mindset, myself, I'm coming out looking. When I get into, we begin to see the things, and right there, they got a figure of Tutankhamun's mom, straight black woman,
Right.
pics, got an afro, the comb. I'm looking at that, I said, what in the world? That's not what we just, I knew better.
Right.
But everything was the opposite. Then you got Tutankhamun they got him in a black mold. He has his brother, a young black brother, just sitting there. You know, with that, they put it in a black, that's what you call it, what the material was. Yeah, with it black, it's like a metal, not a metal, but they carved it out, it's black, jet black. And you're just seeing all these different things. I said, man, these are black people. That brother's black, that's a young brother. A young Hamitic Egyptian brother, right? So you're right. When you see these, there wouldn't be a miracle with Moshe as a white man putting his hand in and then putting it back out. Right. What miracle is that? You call yourself pink and white, so what's the point?
Right.
It's a melanated man. There was a man who had melanation in him. Look. You can fool some of the people, as Marley said this. You can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all the people all the time. See, now that you're seeing the light, you know what I mean? You follow me? So
praise God for the keepers of light, man.
Keep the house of light. You bring this word up here. This is Yahweh don't want you to be ignorant. That's why you're hearing this word now.
That's right.
Instead of 20 years ago, some of you. And those of you in the truth, start reaching out to your people. Start doing some works to let them know who they are.
That's right.
Tell them, tune in to us. Tune in to some other brothers. But get them out there. Get some literature. Do some explaining. They may not want to hear you. That's fine. You can get up and move on. You got to curse them. You don't have to curse them out.
No, plant the seed.
Plant the seed. If they don't want to hear it, what did Yahshua tell you to do? Dust the sand off your feet, man. Keep it moving.
That's right.
You ain't got to curse the place. Just I'm gone. But go ahead. Let's go back to verse 8, man. But but I think if you're not reading this book, you would never know that's here.
Correct.
In Christianity, because they'll tell you what's the purpose of you going back there reading that anyway. We all going to heaven.
Right.
Jesus is a
once saved, always saved.
yeah. Once saved, Jesus is a long-haired European.
Verse 8. And it shall come to pass, if they will not believe thee, neither hearken to the voice of the first sign, that they will believe the voice of the latter sign. And it shall come to pass, if they will not believe also these two signs, neither hearken unto thy voice, that thou shalt take of the water of the river, and pour it upon the dry land. And the water which thou takest out of the river shall become blood upon the dry land.
Okay.
And Moshe said unto Yahweh, O my Adonai, I am not eloquent, neither heretofore, nor since thou hast spoken unto thy servant, but I am slow of speech, and of a slow tongue.
Pause right there for a minute. Now you got Moshe just said well, who am I in chapter 3? Who won? Well, who am I? They're going to believe me. You know what I mean? Then he says in beginning of chapter 4, they're not going to believe me.
Yeah.
Why would they believe me? And now he's saying, hey, I'm not eloquent.
Trying to wiggle his way
He
out.
kind of wiggled his way out of it. See, and that's a sign of who Yahweh put in the position. Some people want to be the big dog, so to speak. That's their goal.
Yeah.
That's their desire. I want to be up top. Well, Yahweh can't use you because you got too much. See, He's going to put you right back where you need to be, in the background.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
See, because Yahweh going to do people. We're going to find somebody that got the right heart
Right.
to do His word, the humble spirit.
You don't look on things outwardly like
Exactly. I'm more qualified. I should be the.
Right.
I should be the motion. It should be me.
Right.
Well, Yahweh
Moshe didn't even want the job.
He didn't want the job.
But Yahweh said, no, you gonna do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Why you think I spared you? Why you think I spared you and not those other boys?
Raise
They got
you
thrown
up.
in the river.
Raise you
I
up
spared
to
you.
Pharaoh's house now.
You're the best man for the job.
Yes.
You know how they think.
You know what? Look at the other side. Moshe know the reason why he don't want to go back because he know our people.
He killed that Egyptian.
Yeah.
Yeah. They snitched on him.
Of course.
Yeah, I gotta go back and face this.
Would you want to, bail out those
I don't
people?
blame him. I don't-
Come on, man.
You're right, Evan. You're right.
Well, like I said, the book. Well, let's continue to read. Let's see what Yahweh said about it.
Praise Yah. Verse 11. Yeah, verse 11. And Yahweh said unto him, Who has made man's mouth?
Okay.
Or who maketh the dumb, or deaf, or the seeing, or the blind? Have not I Yahweh? Now therefore go, and I will be with your mouth, and teach you what you shall say.
Hallelujah. See, same thing applies here today.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yahweh teach you what to say.
That's
You
correct.
can't memorize this whole book. It's spiritual. So whatever Yahweh move you to say at the time, let Yahweh bring it out. You're supposed to study and put something in you.
Let the word grow
Richly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when you're speaking to somebody about this truth, then Yahweh will bring it out to you. But you need to tell them. You might go back, man, I could have said this. No, you said exactly what Yahweh gave you the spirit to say to that person at the time.
Praise
You
Yah.
probably said a word more. You never know.
You're right, Evan. Verse 13. And he said, O my Adonai, send I pray thee by the hand of him whom thou wilt send. And the anger of Yahweh was kindled against Moshe.
Okay.
And he said, Is not Aaron the Levite thy brother? I know that he can speak well. And also, behold, he cometh forth to meet thee, and when he seeth thee, he will be glad in his heart. And thou shalt speak unto him, and put words in his mouth, and I will be with thy mouth, and with his mouth, and he will teach you what you shall do. And he shall be thy spokesman unto the people, and he shall be to thee instead of a mouth, and thou shalt be to him instead of Elohim. And thou shalt take this rod in thine hand, wherewith thou shalt do signs. And Moshe went and returned to Jethro his father-in-law, and said unto him, Let me go, I pray thee, and return unto my brethren which are in Egypt, and see whether they be yet alive. And Jethro said to Moshe, Go in peace.
So here, Yahweh don't have to even choose a servant that even speaks well to deliver his people.
That's right.
Well, we want the most, we have a tradition in our community in the Christian faith. We created great orators that come out from Malcolm, Martin Luther King. We got Mr. Farrakhan, Jesse Jackson, a lot of people that speak well, great orators, and that's something that Yahweh has given us. But Yahweh is showing us that He doesn't have to do that. I get somebody over here stuttering or whatever it may be. That's quiet. Don't feel confident in their speech. Sometimes you might hear somebody, they may not be as educated as you, or as educated and it's articulate. You hear what I'm saying? As you think they should be, but they're doing the work of Yahweh. They're doing His word. But he's speaking the truth. But we can't really put him out international because he's going to embarrass us. I'm kind of embarrassed about it. I'm embarrassed for him. What let's be honest. Yeah, your brother speaking word, but I wish he could become a little bit more polished in certain areas in his speech, his enunciation, his articulation of certain things, and whatever. But that's not for you.
No.
Just say either he's telling you right or he's telling you wrong. It is about the truth or it's about a lie. So again, Yahweh takes the base things of the world to confound the wise.
That's right.
So he'll put you for a setup. You missed out on the kingdom because you look at the outward appearance.
Correct.
And the
Man
flesh.
and the flesh.
Okay, you want to glorify yourself, man.
Yeah, no, that's fine. You glorify yourself, or you want to be glorified. You want something that's going to appeal to your flesh, your eye. Not that much you glorify yourself, but you want. Yeah, it is in a way glorifying yourself. Yeah, you can look at it that way. I want you to look a certain kind of way, so I feel good about myself. So I want you to have a big Mercedes Benz. I want you to have a big church, first lady, all that foolishness.
Pomp and circumstance.
Yes. But the Spirit of Yahweh is nowhere in the place.
So that's what we was talking earlier when we were saying about what I was saying to you about when we see the outward appearance of things and we see people struggle with stuff outright. And so we tend to be haughty, especially as Hebrews. We tend to be haughty and get this proud spirit to look down, upon others and say, okay, yeah, and judge it. They're no different than the Pharisee when he went into and said his prayer.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
But
these black people, this and that. I said, you're black. I don't think that you're not. You're black people.
That's a proud
You call it, whatever the term, you are still out of those people.
That's right.
You're fathers of those people. I don't want to deal with my family anymore. Is it because of the truth, or you just think you're better than them? That's what it comes down to. Because I'm going to go around my family.
That's right.
Whether they believe or not.
How else should we plant seeds?
Right. Yeah. And again, but you deal with your people. There's a way of going about it. But when it comes down to this truth, obviously you got to stand on the truth.
Correct.
Right? I'm not going to go take care of my mama because she doesn't believe the way I believe. No, see, now you're breaking the law.
Right.
It says, honor thy father and thy mother.
That's right. That's right.
That thy days may be long in the land which Yahweh that Elohim giveth thee.
That mercy that you extend to that loved one, Yahweh may have mercy and save him because of what you do.
Exactly. How you know right. And whether or not they believe you or not, you still got to keep the commandment. You got to do right. You got to do that which is right. And that's what Yeshua said, I think in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 15, about when they were talking. Let's go there real quick. Ryan. Matthew 15.
Number 15.
Yeah. And again, and we go to 15 and verse 1. And this is a perfect example. Yeshua, it's all in the book of when we don't get so haughty and you start putting your values and your values and traditions above that of the word. And Yeshua said, no. Don't come with that. But let's just read it, a little bit of that.
Matthew chapter 15, verse 1. Then came to Yeshua scribes and Pharisees, which were of Jerusalem, saying, Why do thy disciples transgress tradition of the elders? For they wash not their hands when they eat bread.
So apparently the elders had established, a little tradition. Not just sanitary, but but this is what they want to do. We do this. This is a tradition. Your disciples are not following this tradition. What say you, Yeshua? Let's see how the brother responds. Yeshua responds.
Verse 3. But he answered and said unto them, Why do you also transgress the commandment of Elohim by your tradition?
See where we're going now?
Yeah.
Let's go ahead. Continue.
Verse 4.
We had a crossroads.
We got a crossroads here.
That's right. Verse 4. For Elohim commanded, saying, Honor thy father and mother, and he that curseth father or mother, let him die the death. But he say, Whosoever shall say to his father or his mother, it is a gift, by whatsoever thou mightest be profited by me.
Okay.
And honor not his father or his mother, he shall be free. Thus have you made the commandment of Elohim of none effect by your tradition, you hypocrites. Well did Isaiah prophesy of you, saying, this people draweth nigh unto me with their mouth, and honoreth me with their lips, but their heart is far from me.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right now. See, this is what the master's saying.
Yep.
See, all these traditions y'all got.
Mm-hmm.
Even within the Hebrew community, y'all got y'all own traditions heaped up.
Correct.
And when we mention the word, you get offended.
Mm-hmm.
How dare you check me? How dare you bring this word to me?
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think you are? I say, hey man, the book say this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't care. We're going to do it like this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
right.
all over, not just one place.
Mm-hmm.
So how can that be? How can that be right? But, you know,
Well,
go
it's
ahead,
not
brother.
right. It's
Yeah,
not right.
it's not
the
right.
thing.
That's not
It's
right.
not right. Ellis.
Right.
How can two walk together except they be agreed?
Exactly.
That's
You can't walk together like
And
that.
the ways have, and this is the thing, is the ways have to agree with thus saith Yah, and the example that Yahshua left. This is what we're saying.
Yep.
It has to fall in line with thus saith. Everything points to the Mashiach.
Of course.
So what is our argument? What are we standing on? If it's not, I mean, it's like
A loose ground.
Yeah, that's ground.
Everybody got an opinion.
Everybody got an opinion.
You say, opinions are like butts. You
Right, you sit right
You
on.
sit right on it.
You
It's
sit on
not
it.
going anywhere.
Exactly.
Except in the ocean.
We're going to see what word stand. Your word is the most high word.
Yeah.
That's right.
We'll wait and see.
Okay.
I might come see you on the bed shaking and trembling.
Mm.
I guess your word then, well, raise yourself up now.
Mm.
Mr. Man,
Mm.
see, Mr. Woman, Miss Woman,
Mm.
don't get it twisted. You are just flesh,
Mm.
blood and bone.
Mm.
You know, and Yahweh keep that breath in you, not you.
That's right.
Yeah.
Continue reading that a little bit.
Yeah, verse 9. But in vain they do worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men.
Men.
That's right.
Okay.
Verse 10.
And so, go ahead, because we take it to 11.
And he called the multitude and said unto them, hear and understand, not that which goeth into the mouth defileth a man, but that which cometh out of the mouth, this defileth a man.
Drop down to 17, if you don't mind.
Verse 17. Do not you yet understand that whatsoever entereth in at the mouth goeth into the belly, and is cast out into the jaws?
Continue.
But those things which proceed out of the mouth come forth from the heart, and they defile the man. For out of the heart proceed evil thoughts, murderers, adulterers, fornications, thefts, false witness, blasphemies. These are the things which defile a man. But to eat with unwashed hands has defiled not a man.
You don't defile a man. So you're looking at the traditions. Your traditions may be leading you on a whole different path.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and sometimes we say, well, we can wear, you know, even that, I'm wearing garbs. I'm going to wear this. I'm going to wear that. Hey, man, I don't see anything in here talking about that
Mm-hmm.
related to your salvation. And to be quite frank and honest, you don't know what they were wearing.
That's right.
Unless the Gentiles have pulled out and the other nations did the research to show you, you wouldn't know. Because you can't get on a plane and go nowhere and stay 2 or 3 months, 6 months, 8 months, 9 months in the Sinai.
What was that?
You know what I'm saying?
What was
Where
that
you going to go
parable?
do it?
Remember that parable that said if the poor man came into the church and he wasn't dressed in goodly apparel?
Right, you sit down here?
You're going to sit him at, you sit
Words.
At my foot.
This man coming with his big, his nice garb here. You sit here.
You sit, I see the honor.
See? Yeah.
We do
Y'all
that
always
now.
do that.
We do it now.
Exactly.
But we don't want to.
It's called respect the persons.
Respect the persons. You can't call. You can't. A lot of times you don't want to call somebody out. But I say, look, y'all always wear this garb, this chieftain's cap, all that. That don't mean nothing.
No.
It don't mean nothing at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It don't mean nothing. But what the law says, we say, well, I don't want to. I don't get caught up in those things, fringes, everything. But at the end of the day, the law does say it.
Yeah.
You want to wear, do it. You're not breaking the law.
No.
You're keeping the law.
No. Hey, you see, and that's an excellent point that you're making there. Look. Now, see, you shaking up the ground with that.
Yeah.
Because we just read it here in verse 8 of Matthew 15. This people draweth near unto me with their mouth, and honoreth me with their lips, but their heart is far from me.
Come on, man.
And that's what it's about. See, this leaven. See,
How
and not just during unleavened.
Right, all the time. Right, praise God. But you're hitting on something. Yeah, I keep on going with that because that's what it's about. You can, your mouth, you can make your mouth say anything. But Yahshua, the Father, they cutting right through the chase to your heart. Penetrated, bone and marrow. Oof. So at the end of the day, we have to, we don't want to be these type of people.
No. We have no excuse.
So if you're more concerned about your traditions and what you want to be done, then we got a problem. And that's why maybe Yahweh hasn't opened up and manifested this truth to more of our people. Because we're out here in these organizations, churches, and we're running roughshod over people that are in Hebraic camps, churches.
That's right.
So you just never know why Yahweh, because he said, look, keep the light. That's why we're here today. We will be keepers of the house of light. We're not going to add to, subtract from. This is what it says.
That's right.
You got to have a right heart, circumcised heart to do those things. Well, if you don't want to do it, that's on you.
Correct.
Yep.
I'm not going to worry. I'm not losing sleep over. That's not my job, to lose sleep over. Although you feel a little funny sometimes. But my job is to love and say, listen, love in the pride. Keeping the commandments is just the basics. Yahshua said you got to go to the next level. That fervent love.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
You got to
your hand wide to your brother.
Right.
So that's going above and beyond.
Yeah, don't kick him when he's down. But like I said, I think maybe last Sabbath, some may respond, well, that's the best time to kick him. He's close to my foot. He's close to my foot. Yeah, I'm going. That's the best way. Thank you. Bam. Then you got to do a side kick like in martial arts.
Right.
It's a snapping kick.
No, exactly.
Just do one good kick.
That's
already
it.
down.
That's it.
Kick him dead in the head. Hey, but have mercy. Mercy this.
Ain't that how people?
Mercy that. Man, come on. Yeah. Walk right over you sometimes. But
Yahweh did that, Ella.
Yeah.
He said, I turned every man's hand against his brother. He
Right.
did that. Yeah.
But at the same time, I go out here, there's some loving,
That's right.
good black people give you the shirt off the back. As a matter of fact, I meet more of them than not.
That's right.
To be quite honest. I think we go a little too far painting our people as the most evil ever. But then you said Yahweh don't know what he's doing. If Yahweh puts you in the position, he just said, I make the blind, I make the seeing,
Right.
the deaf, and all those things. So if he said, I'm gonna put you in a place of your enemies, you're not gonna have nothing going for yourself there with him. So that's Yahweh's doing. Now you can say what you want, but I read the book. I know our people are out there, but we know all the nations are buck wild. But they hate us because Yahweh has put that he has put the what's the word I'm looking for? What he says, I'm gonna put
enmity between your seed and theirs.
No, not that. It's just the nations look at us a certain way, but he's gonna remove that. What's the word?
That blindness,
from the people. They're not gonna look at us that we talk about that captivity. At this point, he looks upon us kind of hard, and the nations follow suit.
Oh well, are you referring to the reproach?
The reproach.
Exactly.
Exactly. Right now, we're under Yahweh's reproach, and the nations see us and have us in reproach.
Yeah. They said these are the people that have sinned against Yahweh. They don't do no wrong.
I kill them, whatever.
They sinned against their God.
Exactly. They sin. And that's going to be their fallback. But Yahweh said, no, you took up in Isaiah 47, they'll say, no, you took it a little too far. You didn't show them no mercy.
Forward to the affliction.
That's right. Yeah. And I'm going to bring it to you. You're going to get exactly what you deserve. Now let's go back, brother, to Hebrews, Exodus. I think we're still in Exodus chapter 4.
Yes, sir. Exodus chapter 4, verse 19. And Yahweh said unto Moshe in Midian, Go, return into Egypt, for all the men are dead which sought thy life. And Moshe took his wife and his sons, and set them upon an ass, and returned to the land of Egypt. And Moshe took the rod of Elohim in his hand. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, When thou goest to return into Egypt, see that thou do all those wonders before Pharaoh, which I have put in your hand. But I will harden his heart, that he shall not let the people go. Which is declaring the end from the beginning.
Praise God.
Right. Sir. And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, Thus saith Yahweh, Israel is my son, even my firstborn.
Okay.
And I say unto thee, Let my son go, that he may serve me. And if thou refuse to let him go, behold, I will slay thy son, even thy firstborn.
This is from the beginning.
Mhm.
Yes, sir.
Moshe already knew
Mhm.
what was going to be, what was going to happen. Yahweh told him from the beginning.
That's right. Verse 24. And it came to pass by the way in the inn, that Yahweh met him and sought to kill him. Then Zipporah took a sharp stone and cut off the foreskin of her son and cast it at his feet and said, Surely a bloody husband art thou to me. So he let him go. Then she said, A bloody husband thou art because of the circumcision. And Yahweh said to Aaron, Go into the wilderness to meet Moshe. And he went and met him in the mount of Elohim and kissed him. And Moshe told Aaron all the words that Yahweh who had sent him, and all the signs which he had commanded him. And Moshe and Aaron went and gathered together all the elders of the children of Israel. And Aaron spake all the words which Yahweh had spoken unto Moshe, and did the signs in the sight of the people. And the people believed, and when they heard that Yahweh had visited the children of Israel, and that he looked upon their affliction, then they bowed their heads and worshipped.
Praise Yah.
Praise Yah.
In the footnote of my Bible, it said for verse 24 about the circumcision. We discussed this last week, but in footnote 3 of my Bible, it says the context interprets verse 24. It says Moshe was forgetful of the very foundation sign of Israel's covenant relationship to Yahweh. On the eve of delivering Israel, he was thus reminded that without circumcision, an Israelite was cut off from the covenant. So his wife had to step in and fill the gap.
That's right.
To let him know, because his son, he did not circumcise his son. So, and obviously Moshe's mother and father they were Levites. They had circumcised him. That's by implication. Right?
Yeah.
So we know he was circumcised. Right?
Great.
According to the law.
Praise Yah.
So, but again, these things are very serious. But you say, well, we ain't got to go through all that old stuff. I'll tell you what, you know, that's why we're going to sit here, Yahweh bless us, to go through this book. And as we go into the Gospels, we go into the Gospels. We're showing you how the Mashiach, he never said the law was gone. No. When we just read Matthew 15, he said your traditions. So you're in Christianity, your traditions of making the
law,
commandments of God are not effect. So you don't have to do nothing. I don't have to keep Sabbath. I ain't got to keep the holy days. I'm good. You know, I'm
Salvation
good.
without sacrifice is not written in Scripture.
No, it's not. No. There's got to be a sacrifice going on here. So listen, let's go to chapter 5 of the book of Exodus. And let me see, how many verses we got in here? Go ahead, Uriah.
Exodus chapter 5, verse 1. And afterward Moshe and Aaron went in and told Pharaoh, Thus said Yahweh Elohim of Israel, Let my people go, that they may hold a feast unto me in the wilderness. And Pharaoh said, Who is Yahweh, that I should obey his voice to let Israel go? I know not Yahweh, neither will I let Israel go. And they said, The Elohim of the Hebrews hath met with us. Let us go, we pray you, 3 days' journey into the desert, and sacrifice unto Yahweh our Elohim, lest he fall upon us with pestilence or with the sword.
So Pharaoh said, well, who is this Yahweh? I don't know him. And Pharaoh and Moshe responded, gave an answer. He's the God of the Hebrews. He's the Elohim of the Hebrews.
That's right.
Okay.
Verse 4. And the king of Egypt said unto them, Wherefore do you, Moshe and Aaron, let the people from their works get you unto your burdens? And Pharaoh said, Behold, the people of the land now are many, and you make them rest from their burdens. And Pharaoh commanded the same day the taskmasters of the people and their officers, saying, You shall no more give the people straw to make bread. As heretofore, let them go and gather straw for themselves. That's correct. Verse 8. And the tale of the bricks, which they did make heretofore, you shall lay upon them. You shall not diminish or of thereof. For they be idle. Therefore they cry, saying, let us go and sacrifice to our Elohim.
See, so here's it. Don't let that quota, the tail, that quota of bricks, like when you're working on a job, they had a quota.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let them find that straw, and don't you reduce or diminish that quota of bricks.
That's right.
Or there are going to be consequences and repercussions.
Oh, man. No excuses.
No excuses. Same way they did our forefathers, in a worse way, in the cane fields down there in Jamaica, here in America, in Trinidad, and in Haiti. Work you to death, and you did not come up with that quota.
That's right.
They'll beat you. They might beat you to death.
That's right.
Same way with the Congo. In the Congo, the Belgian Congo, they were doing that rubber plants and trees. What did they do to those people down there if they didn't make the quota? They would chop their arms off.
Yes, sir.
It's been straight genocide.
Yes, sir.
And now they talking about wars in the Ukraine. Man, nobody don't really, you know what? That's just one more war in the world. People been treated, you have been behind inhumane treatment for so long because you only see yourself as being human.
There's no moral compass.
None.
Yeah.
So these are, and then if you bring it up in historical, well, why? That was back in the day. I didn't cut nobody's arm off, but you sure got these car plants right around here, all these tires, Michelin tires.
That's right.
You sure got that, and that's what they still exploiting it.
That's right.
But that's okay. It's not okay, but you have to understand, if you don't, well, we were Hebrew American. No, they exploited, Yahweh used them to bring us over here, true enough. But they also took and exploited the Hamitic Africans.
That's right.
That were not necessarily Hebrew. They went through crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Right? So now if they were such good Christians, they had the Bible. They knew what Pharaoh was doing. So why couldn't they see that what they were doing to us?
Correct.
Because they had made up in their minds they're not even human.
That's right.
That's right.
Right. They had to do it.
They desensitized themselves.
That's right.
Verse 9. Let their more work be laid upon the men, that they may labor therein, and let them not regard vain words. And the taskmasters of the people went out, and their officers, and they spake to the people, saying, Thus said Pharaoh, I will not give you straw. Go ye, get you straw where you can find it, yet not aught of your work shall be diminished. So the people were scattered abroad throughout all the land of Egypt to gather stubble instead of straw. And the taskmasters hastened them, saying, Fulfill your works, your daily tasks, as when there was straw. And the officers of the children of Israel, which Pharaoh's taskmasters had set over them, were beaten and demanded, Wherefore have you not fulfilled your task in making brick both yesterday and today as heretofore?
See, that's the repercussion and consequence. We're going to beat you. If you didn't bring that 500, you watch a movie, it was, I think it was called 12 Years a Slave.
Yeah.
Okay.
And in that movie, see, now this is what you find about our people. They're so beat down. We get tired of seeing these slave movies. Why you got to keep making these slave movies about us being slaves?
Right.
And the rappers and all of them talking about this. You know what? I can show you the number of slave movies, but I'm not going to take the time to do it, that have been made in the last 20-some years. What are you talking about? You just don't want to know what you don't have no respect for your forefathers because you're acting a fool today, rapping songs about killing each other. Right? You can go back to when I was in elementary, junior high school, Roots. Get that movie called Roots, right? That's one. And then by the time I get, if I can recall, you had another movie came out, Amistad. And then we had, I'll put the time on it one day. Amistad, Glory, Denzel Washington.
Then they had the one that they banned prior to that in the U.S. That was the Goodbye Uncle Tom.
Oh yeah, and that if you go way back, You know, so and we're not going to say good, and we're going to keep that off because everybody don't know about good Bible time.
Right.
Let's just focus on the ones all the slave shows, and then you're looking at what's another one? Let me think of them. What
You would call the Buffalo one?
No, slave movies.
Okay.
Enslavement. So, but if
that's just working
right.
at the
yeah. So I actually sat down and went through those movies. I remember those movies, and look at the time period. From the first one come out to the next one. Man, they ain't been making about 7 movies that have come out in 30 years or so. And you're saying that's too much.
Yeah, I was trying to remind you of your history.
I'm trying to remind you, and he letting your enemies, the people that put you in bondage, they don't mind making the movies, but you don't want to go see the movie.
A tree without roots can't stand.
No.
Right. Oh, the last one was dealing with the one they had recently. It was called, the brother made it, The Birth of a Nation.
Oh,
Okay.
The brother, but they didn't, everybody got mad about that movie.
It was awesome.
The sister, it was a great movie, but the sisters, everybody got mad because he was married to a Gentile one. Why he was married to a white. I said, what that got to do with the price of tea in China? This is something you need to know. And you wonder why your children keep getting beat up, shot down, and beat down. And you can't understand why they do them that way. This is consistent. The slave catchers are right on their butts.
That's right.
Right? So we don't want to, so it's not your shame, it's their shame.
That's right.
And you are so simple-minded. What the book says, how long?
When you love simplicity.
How long we love simplicity?
Right.
They should be ashamed, and they are ashamed. And they don't want to teach their children about nothing that they did and how they got their wealth.
See, the thing is, they couldn't endure what you went through. So then it's like they're mocking you in a sense, but nonetheless, they couldn't endure what you went through.
They couldn't do what you went through.
Yeah.
So when you watch that, you got it from a different mindset. Oh, they doing this. Well, today you weak. You still weak. If they want to put you in bondage tomorrow, you'll be in bondage. What could you do?
The chains are taken off.
And who will come to your rescue? Would China come to your rescue?
Please.
Would the European Union come to your rescue?
That's not going to happen.
Would the Russians come to your rescue?
That's not going to happen.
Could the African countries come to your rescue?
Oh, man.
Really?
They hate you.
I don't want to say they hate you, but they just ain't got the resources. You know, yeah, we got to watch that. We can say people hate you. I've been around, you know, but the bottom line is, you over here in America. You by yourself. And Yahweh said, no man is going to come and free you to deliver you out of this.
Yeah.
With Deuteronomy 68, Deuteronomy 28, verse 68. You read it the other day.
Yeah.
That no man shall redeem you. No kinsman redeemer is going to be able to get you out of this bondage. Right?
Correct.
And now, no man, but the Mashiach, Yahweh is going to redeem you. Right. He's going to get you out. He got to get the glory.
That's right.
That's what it all come back down to.
That's right.
He got to get the glory, man. So we sit here reading this stuff about brothers getting beat, the slavery and all this, and I wouldn't have been a slave. Oh, yeah, they would have. Oh, I wouldn't have took that. Well, they beat you down. The police beat you in the street today. How you told what you won't do? The minute the police come, you watch a black man get choked out by a few cops in New York, a whole bunch of you standing on the corner, then raise a hand. So what do you tell about what you're going to do? They'll just take you back and use a slave. They would put you, tie you to them horses, one arm to one horse, one arm to the other horse, one leg to another leg, horse, 4 horses, and stretch you out and rip and hit them horses, and they would have pulled you apart in front of all the other people.
That's right.
To let you know you have no power here, sir. And your mama would be like, me. That's why y'all are so physically strong, black men. You're taught to be physically strong, but mentally weak.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because being mentally strong would have gotten you killed.
That's right.
Yeah. It get you killed today.
Being mentally strong, that is your strength.
That's your strength. See, they want you playing football. They want you big as a house.
Right.
And running and jumping.
Remember the image that they have with
Make
the
them some
man?
Yeah, we know that.
Big, strong buck, but it's
no head.
No head.
It's the ideal slave.
Right.
Wow.
Muscles all over with. It used to be at the it'll be at the other camp. And it's
had his little handler.
Yeah, little man about 2 feet tall.
Just hold the string.
Right. That's the ideal slave.
Right.
I've read where the slave masters opine that we got them in such a situation right now. But if we could just turn off that light in them, we can turn that. I mean, they were saying if we could turn off that light of being humans, we could just turn that off and just make them an animal. They couldn't make you not be a man, but they were looking, turn that switch off, and now you are becoming. Look at us today. Not all of us, but many of us are manifesting the very stereotypes that our fathers were trying to distance ourselves from.
Correct.
The lies.
Correct.
But now you're running to the bottom. They say you're lazy. Now you've just manifested it. Now I don't want to work. They stupid. They intellectually stupid. I ain't gonna go back to school. I said, well, brother, you're fit to be a slave. That's what you are, a slave. And then they put you in the penitentiary, and voila, you home now.
Prison to school or school to prison.
Yeah.
That's
The school to prison pipeline. You go home right to the prison.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to school. They got thank you.
I got a spot for you.
Yeah, because you're going to take care of somebody's family when you're in the prison. See, you're going to give some people jobs in those rural areas where they build those prisons at.
Yeah.
You're going to hire construction workers and electricians and steel. Everybody's working.
That's right.
Folks are going to get jobs and send their kids to college off of you as a prison employee while you doing time. You go into work, as the prison guard go to work, he do 25 years and he retire with a pension. You still in there.
Right.
25 years with him. But he's living a life. You know? But it's okay. We'll continue, brother. Let's go back.
We're in the book of Exodus chapter 15, verse 15.
Exodus 5.
Exodus chapter 5. Verse 15. Praise God. Verse 15. Then the officers of the children of Israel came and cried unto Pharaoh, saying, Wherefore dealest thou thus with thy servants? There is no straw given unto thy servant. And they say to us, Make brick. And behold, thy servant are beaten, for the fault is in thine own people. But he said, You are idle.
That's right.
You are idle. Therefore you say, Let us go and do sacrifice to Yahweh. Go therefore now and work, for there shall no straw be given you, yet shall you deliver the tale of bricks. And the officers of the children of Israel did see that they were in evil case. Afterward it was said, You shall not diminish or from your bricks of your daily tasks.
So you see, Israel had organized. People were organized.
Right.
Yeah.
So they were not just there a big mob. Okay, they were organized. They had officers, representatives that dealt with, that interacted with.
Ironed out, yeah.
Yahweh said he called his armies out of Israel.
Exactly.
Out of Egypt,
Okay.
So you organized. It's an organization already in place. Great job.
Verse 20. And they met Moshe and Aaron, who stood in the way, and they came forth from Pharaoh. And they said unto them, Yahweh look upon you and judge, because you have made our Savior to be abhorred in the eyes of Pharaoh, and in the eyes of his servants, to put a sword in their hand to slay us. And Moshe returned unto Yahweh and said, Adonai? No, said Master. Wherefore hast thou so evil entreated this people? Why is it that thou hast sent me? For since I came to Pharaoh to speak in thy name, he has done evil to this people, neither hast thou delivered thy people at all.
Okay, so they want, but Yahweh, he asked them. You see, that's how we are. The Spirit may give you and tell you exactly what to do, to do something. You go back to Yahweh. Things don't go quick enough. The way you think, you go back in prayer. Yahweh, what's going on? This, I got a stumbling block in front of me. You told me it's gonna be this. Brother, go on back out there. I got you.
Right. It was part of Moshe's trial.
Yeah.
Because the people, they were praising him. Because when
we believe
Yahweh came and he looked upon our affliction, they were joyful. Oh man, Yahweh remembered us. Then as soon as it got tight, they murmured against Moshe. So it's like Yahweh preparing him. You're gonna have to deal with this, because guess what? They're gonna be murmuring with you for a while.
This is a sign of things to come. A shadow of things to come.
Oh man.
Obi, go ahead and let's go to chapter 6.
Exodus chapter 6, verse 1. Then Yahweh said unto Moshe, Now shalt thou see what I will do to Pharaoh. For with a strong hand he shall let them go, and with a strong hand shall he drive them out of his land.
Yahweh's response.
Yes, sir. And Elohim spake unto Moshe, and said unto him, I am Yahweh, and I appeared unto Abraham, and unto Isaac, and unto Jacob, by the name of El Shaddai, or Yahweh, or Elohim Almighty, God Almighty. But by my name, Yahweh, I was not known to them.
Break for a second there, my deacon.
Uh-oh.
Oh, man. Verse 3. Let's do a little brainstorm.
And it begins.
Let's look at that verse in a little deeper. Let me read it. I'll read that verse. And I appear unto Abraham, unto Isaac, and unto Jacob by the name of Elohim Almighty, but by my name, I call it Jehovah, Yahweh, was I not known unto them.
Mm-hmm.
If we go back into the book of Genesis, Abraham was called a friend. And how could a friend don't know his master's name, his Elohim name? So let's do a little storm reading. If, the children of Israel know his name, or other folks know his name. First, I would like to take you back to the book of Genesis. Genesis chapter 4. And in this review, it's for our advantage to know a little who wrote this book, with the King James book, which one of the Hebrew it was translated from. It's very important to us. Okay? And I need, all of you viewers out there to do some extended, work on that, research on that. Don't take my word, for, face value. Do some work also. Okay, pretty much this book we call the King James Version. It was translated by those Edomites. Okay? And it was translated from also the modern Hebrew. You can Google it, you can check it out yourself, just to make sure I'm on the correct road. And who wrote that book? That's what I stated, the Masorite. Look, who are the Masorite? Who are they? Do your research, because it's very important. And what time frame that taking place. Okay, that was taking place between the 7th and about the 10th to 11th century. The question is, where was our people then? Our people was in captivity. Just the same way when we were over here, when they were writing the Constitution, where was our people? We were slaves.
That's right. In
bondage, Egypt. The second Egypt was still in bondage too. But turn to Genesis chapter 4 and read verse 25 and 26. And remember, those guys who we call the Masorite, they replace the true name of Yahweh with their title.
Correct.
Wherever you see the Lord in uppercase, that's where they replace his name. Okay? So go ahead and Obi, I'm maybe going to ask you to.
Okay. All right.
Spin around now, read that one.
Genesis chapter 4, verse 25. And Adam knew his wife again, and she bare a son, and called his name Seth. For Elohim, she said, has appointed me another seed instead of Abel, whom Cain slew. And to Seth, to him also there was born a son, and he called his name Enos. Then began man to call upon the name of Yahweh.
So people, before we went into captivity, were calling that name. Let's turn to, no, we can read 25. Okay, we read that already. Let's examine to find out if Abraham knew his name also. Let's go to Genesis 12.
I see where you're going with this, brother.
Yeah, because, the way this book is written sometimes, it's kind of, you would say it conflict with each other. You have to go and do your research yourself. Look up words if you think it's going to conflict with something that was there before.
Great, yeah.
Genesis 12, read 7 and 8.
Yes, sir. Verse 7. And Yahweh appeared unto Abram and said, Unto thy seed will I give this land, and there builded he an altar unto Yahweh, who appeared unto him. And he removed from thence unto a mountain on the east of Bethel, and pitched his tent, having Bethel on the east, and Hai on the east. And there he builded an altar unto Yahweh. I'm sorry, it said, I read that wrong. And he removed from thence unto a mountain on the east of Bethel, and pitched his tent, having Bethel on the west, and Hai on the east. And there he builded an altar unto Yahweh, and called upon the name of Yahweh.
So Abraham knew his name. So, folks who said this verse, verse 6, chapter 6, verse 3, is conflicting with chapter 12 in Genesis, verse 8. So these things we have to try pretty much hard to work on. Let's try next one again. Let's go to Genesis 15. Read verse 2 to 7. Verse 15.
All right. Genesis chapter 15, verse 2 through 7. And verse 15. Okay. And Abram said, Adonai Elohim, what wilt thou give me, seeing I go childless, and the steward of my house is this Eleazar of Damascus? And Abram said, Behold, to me thou hast given no seed, and lo, one born in my house is mine heir.
Up to verse 7.
Yes, sir. And he said unto him, I am Yahweh that brought thee out of Ur of the Chaldees, to give thee this land to inherit it.
So Yahweh proclaimed unto Abraham again, right? To tell him, I am Yahweh. But what I said, it's good to do your research, to know where all these things, when this book was written, when this book was translated, and by who.
That's a fact.
It plays a very important part. Okay, let's jump to Genesis 26. Yeah, 26. Let's do 17. Let's pick it up at verse 17. Let's skip around a little bit.
Yes, sir.
And this is this has to do with Abraham's son, Isaac.
Okay. Genesis chapter 26, verse 17. And Isaac departed thence, and pitched his tent in the valley of Gerar, and dwelt there. And Isaac digged again the wells of water, which they had digged in the days of Abraham his father, for the Philistines had stopped them after the death of Abraham, and he called their names after the names by which his father had called them.
24.
Yes, sir. And Yahweh appeared unto him the same night, and said, I am the Elohim of Abraham thy father. Fear not, for I am with thee, and will bless thee, and multiply thy seed for my servant Abraham's sake. And he builded an altar there, and called upon the name of Yahweh, and pitched his tent there, and there Isaac's servants digged the well.
Thank you, my brother. Now we see Yahweh appear unto Abraham. So our forefathers, the patriarch, they knew. Just sort of they knew the name of Yahweh. Okay? And I told you, read verse 5. Verse 5 of the same chapter. That's verse 5.
Genesis chapter 26, verse 5. Because that Abraham obeyed my voice, and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws.
Bingo, that's it. So that tells us also that Abraham was practicing the laws. Okay?
That's right.
The law of Yahweh. He knew what the law was all about too. Okay, it was just written and codified and given to a nation out of a nation. That's what the class is. Okay? Praise God. Sometimes we have to do a little research beyond just reading the Bible, asking a question. And if it sounds a little bit conflicting to you, do a research on it. Pull your dictionary or pull your concordance. Do some research. Let's go to Genesis 28. Pick it up at verse 12.
Yes, sir. Verse 12. And he dreamed, and behold, a ladder set up on the earth, and the top of it reached to heaven. And behold, the angels of Elohim ascending and descending on it.
Mm-hmm.
And behold, Yahweh stood above it and said, I am Yahweh, Elohim of Abraham thy father, and the Elohim of Isaac. The land whereon thou liest, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed. And thy seed shall be as the dust of the earth, and thou shalt spread abroad to the west, and to the east, and to the north, and to the south. And in thee and in thy seed shall all the families of the earth be blessed.
Mm-hmm.
And behold, I am with thee, and I will keep thee in all places whither thou goest, and will bring thee again into this land. For I will not leave thee until I have done that which I have spoken to thee of. And Jacob awaked out of his sleep, and he said, Surely Yahweh is in this place, and I knew it not.
What did Jacob say? Yahweh. Surely Yahweh was in this place. So he knew, the patriarch knew his name. So, let's go back to Genesis, not Genesis, but Exodus chapter 3. Chapter 6, forgive me. And read back verse 3 again. So this have to be saying something totally different, because the patriarch then knew his name. So what exactly Yahweh was talking about?
Verse 3, Exodus chapter 6, verse 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I appeared unto Abraham, and unto Isaac, and unto Jacob, by the name of Elohim Almighty, but by my name Yahweh was I not known to them.
Yeah, so what really was he talking about here now? Do you have a dictionary? Look up that word known. So we know sometimes using the English language, they use words that's so ambiguous. It have a lot of different meaning. And sometimes within the conflict, you have to use the dictionary or use a word that matches the right, context of this verse. Or any other section in this book. But you have to get up off whatever it is. Like you said, Jacob was saying,
It's not in here.
Okay, well, don't worry about it.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. Actually, what he was talking about, they do not know or do not experience. They do not experience the things that the children of Israel experienced.
I got it, brother. It says to perceive or understand as fact or truth, to apprehend clearly and with certainty.
Okay. You have any more meaning to that too?
That's all they have here. Let me see
Okay.
a little further.
So we know within a name, when we just start reading, and I asked you to look up name, especially in Exodus chapter 3, verse 13.
Yes, sir.
So we know a name could be like a literal name or a title, just like you look out there. What they know, maybe Shaq has. I really don't know too, but I don't watch, basketball that much. Check out or Michael Jordan.
Right.
He have a name. He made a name. So Yahweh made a name for himself. I tell you, go to Joshua chapter 9 and read verse 8 and 9.
Joshua chapter 9, verse 8 and 9. Verse 8. And they said unto Joshua, We are thy servants. And Joshua said unto them, Who are ye? And from whence come ye? And they said unto him, From a far country thy servants are come, because of the name of Yahweh thy Elohim. For we have heard the fame of him and all that he did in Egypt.
So the fame of a person can also be the name. Also. So that's what those three patriarchs didn't experience. They did not experience that glory or that defense, that he showed, with the children of Israel. So that is what that verse is really talking about. Because, proving that those three patriarchs knew his name, so this verse must be saying something. But you can do an additional study on it and say if something different, come up to you, or any of the viewers that is out there.
And, and what I'm going to do, because we always got to have the two sides to every construct or something. So, so as a traditionalist, looking at this, at the same time, thank the brother for what he's done, but we always going to know there's going to be a different view
side to it. Yeah.
So one can look at this and say the same thing, that, when it was translated, you got Moshe, you're writing, and Moshe is writing from he's telling a story. So he's putting the name as known in the text. He's saying Yahweh's name right here. He's also in chapter 6 here, when he says, how would he write the book unless he put Yahweh's name in here? So he's Yahweh gets glory all the way through the book when in Moshe's hand. And we know they took Yahweh's name out of it, the Tetragrammaton, those Hebrew letters. We know all that was taken out. But at the same time, one could argue and counter,
that's important. But
why would he's his friend, but again, for all practical purposes, just like the angels asked, what's your name? But I ain't got to tell you all that. You got to know my name right now. And so, for all practical purposes, for your purposes, I'm El Shaddai. For your purpose, I'm God Almighty. And that's what you need to know. And I'm your God. I'm going to deal with you. So I think that this is going to be always an open forum
for discussion.
We're not going to get bogged down in certain things. But again, we're not going to sit here and say there's not another way of viewing, interpreting that.
Yeah.
And what you laid out makes sense. It makes sense. Yeah, why would, why wouldn't he know? Why didn't Yahweh disclose his name to Abraham, his friend? Why, but we also saw instances in your writing where we're going to see when Abraham dealt with, what's his name? The priest in the Battle of the Kings. What was the priest? Melchizedek. Yeah. Now, it's writing there and says Melchizedek is a priest of Elohim. Now, so so are we saying now, how far is Yahweh's name known in antiquity and to by whom, right? At that point. With the angel of the bush, you're looking at 430 years has been lost from the time the Israelites go into the land. And they're dealing with the Egyptians, and they're being with their gods that are there. They got a very strict polytheistic approach to their gods. So you're looking at, you got to go back. So if I'm writing this, how would you write it? Well, you're going to write it in a way that makes sense to the reader. I'm going to put his name in here so that I'm talking about Yahweh. Or are you going to say that, and what you're contending is, they knew, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob knew his name, or did Moshe write his name in there and just made it simple?
To the point where my elders
if you listen,
if I listen,
what I'm saying.
I was saying to the point that Elder was saying that the translators, translators took this liberty to put certain words, and we know in other places.
Of course, they've done that, right?
Because in the book of Genesis, like we read, it says after with Enos, then began men to call upon the name of Yahweh.
Right.
So you have to look the time frame. If you should put this in like the right perspective, the question is, when did the Messiah born? He was born in the 1st century. You see what I'm saying? Approximately in the 1st century. So if he was born in the 1st century, and these guys, who we call the Masoretes, they translated it on the book, from their version, when they're written. And if you go back into their modern Hebrew book, you actually see the word Yahweh in their book. But they said it was too early. And this can be proved. You can Google it, you can find all the information. This was translated in 7th century, which is 700 BC to 1000, BC. That was after the death of the Messiah. So of course, the Messiah is going to pronounce his name, his father's name, to his disciple and everyone else. So, but it's those who we call Masoret. Those are the so-called Jewish scholars out there.
But who else translated? Well, who else did Yahweh allow to translate?
No, I'm talking
No. We got to be careful.
Yeah.
You're saying that these people, they translated, but who else did Yahweh allow to translate it other than them? So we have to find the other translators. So why did Yahweh allow it to be translated by that particular group? But where's another translation? That's what I'm saying. These are the arguments.
You can always. Right. That's what I'm saying. You can always go, but because we're using the King James version, which is more or less the closest.
But again, the question I'm going to put forth is if there's one translation by the Mezerites, right? What do you call? I'm familiar with that.
They translated it from them.
So where is the other source that we can look to get the accurate translation?
Well,
so that way we can. So it's almost a situation you got to have both things before. It's almost like, okay, we know what they did, but what did they get? What did they translate it from? And can we find that text? Is that text in existence? That original text? Can we find those?
So we can compare.
Yeah.
So you can compare.
Yeah, you have to do that. I follow what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna put forth that because we don't want to come across that we done that as well. I want to make sure everything's done,
decently,
decently in order.
And in order.
Because when you're doing academic work, you're gonna have to say, okay, I understand what you said.
But if you go back,
and I can follow what you said.
If you go back and look at all of the artifacts, that is undiscovered, uncovered, you will see that his name was written plainly in Hebrew. What I'm saying, the text that the Masoret used to translate it to this King James version here is way down the line, 7th to the 10th century. You see what I'm saying? So before all of the names that were written, they just changed it to put L-O-D, capital L-O-D.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So you have to, keenly look at that.
And I agree.
Yeah.
But again, we have to find. There's nothing that I know of. We have to find out when they translated and they took those liberties. Show me the original. I think that's the fair question. Where's the original source document? So that if that document exists, then, like you said, we can say, oh yeah, they did this and they did that. But I think you're drawing rational and reasonable inferences. It's reasonable, it's rational, but at the same time, somebody else going to jump out there and say the same thing I'm saying. They're going to say, okay, well, that's
you're right. You're right.
That's what I want to make sure.
Yeah, you're right, my elder. I know this is just a Sabbath discussion, and the first thing
but you said do your research.
Viewers, do your research.
Exactly.
Said, don't take my word.
Don't take my word for it. But I know if you go ahead and do your research, at some point we're going to present the information, and then you can judge for yourself.
Right.
It's not about me or not about any one of us in the table.
Right.
We are here to present, the light of the Most High.
That's what I'm just saying.
Yeah.
That's what I say. Just put it out there. We're not. Yeah, we're not saying that there's nothing else out there because that's what they're going to say. Oh, they're saying this. So let's keep down the.
But that's important. It's about the perspective.
Right.
Perspective. So and that's how this is how our people can communicate. It's like when you mention the name. Well, you're gonna have people.
We got a class. You're gonna discuss that.
We have another class to discuss.
But that's going to be a separate. It can't be on the Sabbath.
Yeah.
It has to be a separate breakdown.
Yeah.
So you can show the name. But this is good because again, when you read that, it does confuse you. I thought you said they didn't know his name.
Right.
But then I just read where they call on the name of Yahweh.
Right.
So you have to, like the brothers did, you have to present something to disconnect that disconnect there. There's a
That,
disconnect.
that linkage,
Yeah,
you know,
there's
with everything.
A
Yeah.
cognitive disconnect.
Yeah.
You're saying is they know his name, and they call him from eating all that.
Right.
But then you get here, you're saying they didn't know his name. They only called on him by El Shaddai.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the things that we're looking at. And understand, but see, most Hebrews can't sit down and talk like this.
That's right.
See, because they'll think I'm gonna put the opposing argument out.
You got thesis.
It's his thesis, and it's an antithesis. A thesis, and I'm not presenting the antithesis, but I'm saying it will be presented. Somebody's gonna put it out there.
Somebody else. Right.
So he's going to again, and he'll have to go back, and he'll have to support. He'll have to respond to that.
That's right.
So when he can respond, then he'll sit there and hold his own through the grace of Yahweh. We'll just do that. So that's what's going to happen.
Praise
So and he's walked us through in detail about these various names that are being used today. So he literally had walked me and Deacon Obadiah through his analysis, and we said, yeah, I see. But that was he had the alphabet. He had a lot of information. So I know where he's coming from.
Yes.
So, but I don't want you to think that he's not able to go in more detail to support his thesis.
Correct.
Right? Because you know you're going to challenge it and say, well, what about this? What about that? So, y'all willing? You'll get to see that as well.
Praise God. Praise God.
So, and I think, and we've already been discussing that, it got to be a class separate, but we got to put it up and let you guys know this is what's happening.
Right.
So when
the whole nine.
we put a notice out, and we'll just show that.
Yeah.
And that's what we're about. We're not going to hide the ball on it. Because Yahweh gave the brother spirit as you saw him going through the various components. And that's right, what you're going to say. You can't, because you
Can't
can't deny it. That's how it's written, right? In the King James. So, we are, I find it very enlightening. But go ahead, I wanted you to, I'm glad you took us through that. Because he was supposed to do it last week. Last chapter. But it didn't happen. Do we have any technical difficulty?
No.
Okay. Okay. But continue.
Accident.
Let's say, but go ahead. I'm gonna put it back to you.
I'll pick it up until Obi get back. We're in the book of Genesis chapter 6.
You finished that?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'm through with that for now because I know we can do this. Really, extend certain things.
We gave a little teaser.
Just a little teaser.
Little information.
Yeah, teaser. Because we want you to go out there and do your research yourself.
Right.
Prove all things.
Yeah, prove all things.
Praise God. All right, look. It was Exodus chapter 6, verse 3. And I appeared unto Abraham, unto Isaac, and unto Jacob by the name of Elohim Almighty, but by my name Yahweh was I not known to them.
Okay, thank you for that, brother Uriah.
Praise God.
And I have also established my covenant with them to give them the land of Canaan, the land of their pilgrimage, wherein they are strangers. They were strangers. And I have also heard the groaning of the children of Israel, whom the Egyptians keep in bondage. And I have remembered my covenant. Wherefore, say unto the children of Israel, I am Yahweh, and I will bring you out from under the burdens of the Egyptians. And I will rid you out of their bondage, and I will redeem you with a stretched out arm and with great judgments.
You see that term, redeem? That's the kinsman type.
Correct.
Of redemption, and it's not laid out like you said earlier, right? It has not been codified yet, but these things are still in effect. Kinsman redeemer.
Yeah,
so, but Yahweh's going to do the redeeming, right?
Praise Yahweh. We're at verse
7.
And I will take you to me for a people, and I will be to you a Elohim.
Wow.
And you shall know that I am Yahweh your Elohim, which bringeth you out from under the burdens of the Egyptians. And I will bring you unto the land concerning the which I did swear to give it to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob. And I will give it you for a heritage. I am Yahweh. And Moshe spake so unto the children of Israel, but they hearkened not unto Moshe for anguish of spirit and for cruel bondage. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Go in, speak unto Pharaoh, king of Egypt, that he let the children of Israel go out of his land. And Moshe spake before Yahweh, saying, Behold, the children of Israel have not hearkened unto me. How then shall Pharaoh hear me, who am of uncircumcised lips? And Yahweh spake unto Moshe and unto Aaron, and gave them a charge unto the children of Israel, and unto Pharaoh king of Egypt, to bring the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. These be the heads of their fathers' houses. The sons of Reuben, the firstborn of Israel, Hanok, and Palu, and Hezron, and Carmi. These be the families of Reuben. And the sons of Simeon, Jemuel, and Jamin, and Ohad, and Jachin, and Zohar, and Shaul, the son of the Canaanitish woman. These are the families of Simeon. And these are the names of the sons of Levi, according to their generations, Gershon, and Kohath, and Merari. And the years of the life of Levi were 137 years. The sons of Gershon, Libni, and Shimei, according to their families. And the sons of Kohath, Amram, and Izhar, and Hebron, and Uzziel. And the years of the life of Kohath were 133 years. And the sons of Merari, Mahali, and Mushai. These are the families of Levi, according to their generations. And Amram took him Jochebed, his father's sister, to wife. And she bare him Aaron and Moshe. And the years of the life of Amram were 137 years. And the sons of Izhar, Korah, and Nephi, and Zikri. And the sons of Uzziel, Mishael, and Elzaphan, and Zithri. And Aaron took him Elisheba, daughter of Abinadab, sister of Nashon, to wife. And she bare him Nadab, and Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar. And the sons of Korah, Aser, and Elkanah, and Abiasaph. These are the families of the Korhites. And Eleazar, Aaron's son, took him one of the daughters of Putiel to wife. And she bare him Phinehas. These are the heads of the fathers of the Levites, according to their families. These are that Aaron and Moshe, to whom Yahweh said, Bring out the children of Israel from the land of Egypt, according to their armies. These are they which spake to Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and to bring out the children of Israel from Egypt. These are that Moshe and Aaron.
Do you know how many thousands of years we're looking at? I think we got to understand the depth and span of the historical period.
Correct.
To have these things written and memorialized unto this very day.
That's so true.
It's the oldest book of its kind.
That's right. It said BC 1491. That's what I got in my book.
Come on, man. Praise God.
Praise Yahweh. Verse 28. And it came to pass on the day when Yahweh spake unto Moshe in the land of Egypt, that Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, I am Yahweh. Speak thou unto Pharaoh, king of Egypt, all that I say unto you. And Moshe said before Yahweh, Behold, I am of uncircumcised lips, and how shall Pharaoh hearken unto me?
Praise God.
Praise
See,
God.
and see how he humbled himself? He's speaking with a little bit more finesse now to Yahweh. I'm a man of unclean lips. You want me to speak your words? Your words are holy. Why would Pharaoh respond to my uncircumcised? They're your words, but my lips are uncircumcised. My lips are unclean. We saw that before with, I think, was it Ezekiel? Ezekiel, right? Yeah, Ezekiel.
Isaiah chapter 5.
Is it Ezekiel or Isaiah?
Isaiah chapter 5.
Okay.
That cold.
Yeah, he said, I'm
Yeah.
a Persian.
That cold.
I'm a man of
Clean lips.
and he spoke Hebrew.
Yeah.
So
And, matter of fact, let me see. Is that what it is?
Isaiah
No,
chapter 5.
I don't think it's Isaiah 5. That's Ezekiel. Isn't it?
Let's clarify it.
I think that's Ezekiel.
That's Isaiah.
Yeah.
It's Isaiah.
Isaiah?
Yeah, it's Isaiah 6.
Six. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I looked at 5. Wait a minute.
Yeah,
That's
Okay,
right.
well, you read it. You read it, oh, you're right.
Okay. You want me to just read? Okay.
Read that part about the lips.
Okay, we're in the book of Isaiah, chapter 6, verse 6. Then flew one of the seraphims unto me, having a live coal in his hand.
No, go back to 5. You gotta go to verse 5.
Okay. Verse 5. Then said, woe is me, for I am undone, because I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips. For mine eyes have seen the King, Yahweh of hosts.
He's in a vision. He's seen, he's in a vision right now.
Verse 6. Then flew one of the seraphim unto me, having a live coal in his hand, which he had taken with the tongues from off the altar. And he laid it upon my mouth, and said, Lo, this has touched thy lips, and thine iniquity is taken away, and thy sin is burned.
So that's what we say. He's saying, but Moshe is not, praise God for that reading, but Moshe is not like Isaiah, because Moshe talks to Yahweh, is talking to Moshe face to face, straight up. So Moshe is on another level here. So they're having a conversation. But that conversation is still the same. Where he says, I'm a man of uncircumcised lips, and how shall I? But how shall Pharaoh hearken unto me? But he ain't got to go through all that with Moshe. He just said, look, you're gonna go and do what I just said do. You're already clean by what I'm telling you to do.
But we see Ella, that thus far what we read, the people whom Yahweh spoke to and gave them a charge to carry out his work, they were humble. They didn't really want to go out and do what it is that he was asking them to do. But Yahweh saw something different in them.
Yeah. Exactly.
See,
exactly.
But they didn't see themselves worthy to carry out this.
He made us all.
Right. Moshe was living a humble life as a shepherd. He had resolved himself those 40 years in that environment as the prince.
Relaxed. Out of it.
You got a wife.
You got a wife, you got a family, chill. And then all of a sudden they go to that bush on fire.
Oh man. Why did I look at that bush?
See, somebody said the devil come at you when you're at your most, at your highest. See, that's just speaking from that's wisdom. That's not in the scripture.
Right.
That's not nothing in the book. But Yahweh came to him when he's at his most chill.
He finally
chilling out.
We good.
So now it's time for you to go. You've been on the bench long enough, so let's get out here. Oh, I didn't think I was just like us. You think Yahweh we're here for a purpose. Yahweh got us here. Here is to keep us in the house of light. But we got 3 different personalities, 3 different views, and we respect each other. But so I can come to Uriah and say, well, Uriah, you said this, just like we did tonight, right now. We wasn't arguing. I was just putting it forth, hey, this is going to happen.
That's right.
So, but he's going to be prepared to address that. But you try to get it out of him and say, oh yeah, I'll be ready to do it. Might do it next Shabbat, Yahweh willing. But we may just do it then. Let him go ahead and do it if you want to. But that's the point. You have to be able to, you always say it.
Instant in season.
Instant in season. And how can you walk together unless you're what? You got to be in agreement.
That's right.
Definitely. Well, go ahead. I want to, let's go to, what time is it?
We're at 2, we're at 2 hours and 15.
Okay. So what are we looking at? Chapter 7 here. But let's do this. We're at 2 hours and 15 minutes? 18 minutes. Do you want to start a little bit of chapter 7?
We can.
And let's read it to about, it's 25. What do you want to do, Obi?
Let's read it.
Let's go ahead and read. Let's wrap this up, Uriah.
Okay.
Who's reading, Uriah or Obadiah? Who just read that? But Obi's reading. It's on you. It's on you, Uriah. It's on you.
Man, nothing fancy, man.
You gotta get out of reading. Come on, man. Hey, I can't say anything.
I'm gonna shit no, man. Come on, man.
You know what to read? Yeah.
We're in the book of Exodus, chapter 7, verse 1.
You got it. You deserve to read this. Praise
all of us, man. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, See, I have made thee Elohim, our God, to Pharaoh, and Aaron thy brother shall be thy prophet.
See, boom. That's deep.
Of course.
Look at the situation. When Pharaoh see you, you're gonna be doing miracles and stuff in front of him he ain't never seen. Like this man of God.
Of course.
But his prophet doing the talking.
Right.
Elohim in the background.
Right.
Moshe is in the background. You go ahead and do the talking, prophet. Everyone's talking. That's blowing his mind. That's blowing his mind. But isn't that how it is right now?
Right.
You don't, no man never seen,
heard.
never seen Yahweh.
Yahweh giving commands, man.
Right. He's giving
Like
commands,
Buffett,
man.
man. He's the back.
Angels doing everything.
Orders, man.
Israel saying this, the angels jumping. And then it gets down to us, his humble servants. And we can, the Holy Spirit give us something to do. And we try to do best what we can. You know? But Yahweh, but you ain't never seen, we ain't never, I talk to God every day. Well, yeah, you talk, but don't necessarily mean he talking to you. Oh, yeah. He hear your prayers. Got an emergency. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 2. Thou shalt speak all that I command thee, and Aaron thy brother shall speak unto Pharaoh, that he send the children of Israel out of his land.
Isn't that a Christ-like situation?
Yeah.
This is why he said, I'm going to send one like unto me to your brethren. See, he says here, that which I speak to you, you are going to tell what? Aaron. Right?
That's right.
So Yeshua is what? The Son.
Of course.
The Father speaking directly to him. And he's telling us in the Gospels. But now if you don't listen, we already discussed that.
It's going to be required.
It's going to be
It's
required.
going to be required.
So y'all, if you have not been baptized, you've been hearing these words, if you just clicked on, hey, it might be time for you to seek after Yahweh.
Praise Him. Verse 3. And I will harden Pharaoh's heart and multiply my signs and my wonders in the land of Egypt. But Pharaoh shall not hearken unto you, that I may lay my hands upon Egypt and bring forth mine armies and my people, the children of Israel, out of the land of Egypt by great judgments. And the Egyptians shall know that I am Yahweh, when I stretch forth mine hands upon Egypt, and bring out the children of Israel from among them. And Moshe and Aaron did as Yahweh commanded them, so did they. And Moshe was 80 years old, and Aaron 83 years old, but they spake, when they spake unto Pharaoh.
So Moses is who's the oldest? Aaron. He's 83 years old. Moshe is 80.
That's right. The baby brother.
The baby brother. Baby boy.
The older shall serve the younger.
Yeah, that's a great example.
Yeah. Verse 8. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe and unto Aaron, saying, when Pharaoh shall speak unto you, saying, show a miracle for you, then thou shalt say unto Aaron, take thy rod, and cast it before Pharaoh, and it shall become a serpent. And Moshe and Aaron went unto Pharaoh, and they did so as Yahweh had commanded. And Aaron cast down his rod before Pharaoh, and before his servants, and it became a serpent. Then Pharaoh also called the wise men and the sorcerers, now the magician of Egypt. They also did in like manner with their enchantments. For they cast down every man his rod, and they became serpents. But Aaron's rod swallowed up their rod.
Wait a minute. Somebody explain to me how these Egyptians could do that. And by what power? I don't care who tell me why. What's going on here?
They were sorcerers. And Satan gave them power to do these things.
It came through Yahweh too.
That's right. Satan worked for Yahweh.
Yeah, of course. He worked for Yahweh.
He can't do nothing without Yahweh.
Satan wants to he's the prince of this world. So he has people worshiping him too.
That's right.
But then we say that Yahweh gave them over to these things.
Yeah.
We're going to see that down in Deuteronomy. Yahweh gave them over to it.
Right.
So see, this is the thing we got to realize. We were watching one of those music videos. What's that, Katy Perry?
Yeah.
One of those, about her song, Dark Horse.
Yeah.
And they just going through all that Egyptian. They're showing the same magicians doing magic on the video.
The same thing.
Doing the same stuff.
All that Kabbalism.
Come on, man. That's deep stuff, man.
Yes,
they tied it. So don't think that these people cannot work power. But we have to understand we're under that blood. You know what I mean? And we're believing now the weapon formed against us.
Shall prosper. Praise Him, man.
Praise Him.
Verse 13. And he hardened Pharaoh's heart hardened Pharaoh's heart, and that he hardened not unto them as Yahweh has said. So he have control of the whole scenario.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's right.
Verse 14. And Yahweh said unto Moshe,
You right?
yeah, I'm right, okay. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, Pharaoh's heart is hardened. He refused to let the people go. Get thee unto Pharaoh in the morning. Lo, he goeth out unto the water, and thou shalt stand by the river's brink against he come. And the rod which was turned to a serpent shalt thou take in thine hand. And thou shalt say unto him, Yahweh Elohim of the Hebrews hath sent me unto you, saying, Let my people go, that they may serve me in the wilderness. And behold, hitherto thou would not hear. Thus said Yahweh, In this thou shalt know that I am Yahweh. Behold, I will smite with the rod that is in mine hand upon the waters which are in the river, and they shall be turned to blood.
So this is going to Yahweh's making a name. His fame. This is the beginning of this.
Is going out there. And the fish that is in the river shall die, and the river shall stink, and the Egyptian shall loathe to drink of the water of the river. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying unto Aaron, Take thy rod and stretch out thine hand over the waters of Egypt, upon their streams, upon their rivers, and upon their ponds, and upon all their pools of water, that they may become blood, and that they may be blood throughout all the land of Egypt, both in vessels of wood and in vessels of stone.
So that's that. This is the first plague, then, right?
That's right.
That's the first plague.
Elder, if I can interrupt real quick.
Please do.
So the Egyptians, so Yahweh said in the book of Exodus, chapter 12, he said he's going to basically bring judgment upon the gods of Egypt.
That's right.
So the first plague, we had did some research on it. It was each one of the plagues represented one of the gods of Egypt. Right?
Oh, wow.
Wow. So the Egyptian god of the Nile was called Hapi, or Hapi.
Okay, my brother.
I'm pronouncing it wrong. This was the Egyptian god for the water bearer. This is the water bearer. They call that Aquarius in these days and times.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So the Egyptian plague, water turned to blood. Just a reference. It said the first plague that was given to the Egyptians from Elohim was that of turning the water to blood. Aaron, the spokesman for Moshe, touched the rod of Yahweh on the Nile River. It immediately turned to blood. All the fish died. The river stank. Partially able to duplicate this miracle, the magicians of Pharaoh also turned water to blood, leaving Pharaoh unimpressed with this great wonder from Elohim. And 7 days we know that they were unable to drink the water, and Yahweh was going to pay. But they worshipped this god Hapi. This was the god of the water.
Teach, my brother. And see, that's what we have to do. He's making war. Yahweh's making war on the gods of Egypt.
Correct.
So you got an idol god that you've been worshiping for the water. Okay, we're gonna see. Let's go see. Can he withstand me? I'm gonna chomp your God out right in front of you.
That's right.
That's deep.
Praise
God for that, brother.
Verse 20. And Moshe and Aaron did so as Yahweh commanded, and he lifted up the rod and smote the waters that were in the river in the sight of Pharaoh and in the sight of his servants.
Right in their face.
And all the waters that were in the river were turned to blood. And the fish that was in the river died, and the river stunk. And the Egyptian could not drink of the water of the river, and there was blood throughout all the land of Egypt. Wow. And the magicians of Egypt did so with their enchantments. And Pharaoh's heart was hardened, neither did he harden unto them, as Yahweh had said. And Pharaoh turned and went into his house, neither did he set his heart to this also. And all the Egyptians dig round about the river for water to drink, for they could not drink of the water of the river. And 7 days were fulfilled after that Yahweh had smitten the river. Wow.
So we're looking at, this is the first judgment, the first plague. And then, and I'm quite sure this brother's going to keep he's going to bring forth more information about these various gods of Egypt. Praise Yah for that. And see, this is what we're about. We're trying to bring, you heard this brother brought some information about the construct, the name, the etymology, looking at it, giving you a different perspective, and now you're hearing a different perspective from the brother Obadiah, specifically letting you know that Yahweh is not playing. He says, I know you're worshiping those gods, but I'm going to challenge them. I'm going to see, praise Yah for this.
For the keepers of the house of life.
Oh man, praise Yah. Because he's put us here, but not to play games. Not to play games with you. We're not trying to play games. You know what? We're going to go look at this book, and whatever the Spirit gives us, it gives us. And whatever it doesn't, and whatever Yahweh chooses not to give us, that's his right. That's right. But we're going to teach what Yahweh has given us in the Spirit, and how we looked at this book. So we have, we purposely went back over chapter 3. We wanted to give Elder Uriah an opportunity to have a clear path to kind of just build a foundation clearly where you see where he's going, and of course my job said, oh yes, there's other arguments, but we're going to go back and we're going to address some things in more detail with these names, because everybody got various names out here.
That's right.
And it shouldn't be a conflict.
No.
As Uriah has explained to us and broke it down to us. And I said, yeah, you're right. Why are we worried? But at the end of the day, we can understand where you got the name from. The different name. Like you just broke down Haya real fast.
Yeah.
Just very quickly. You did it very quickly. But then there's some other things out there. So with that, and he said, y'all give us the will, opportunity. We could just keep on going. But I would love to keep going, but we'll lose all the viewers' attention. And Yahweh don't want us to do that.
You can't give them too much.
Too much information. But with that, praise Yah. So with that, we're going to end the Sabbath class discussion entitled Exodus, a Nation Out of a Nation, Part 2, right now. And again, we're still in our first fruits, and hopefully we are giving glory to Yah and His Son, Yeshua, as our first fruits, for us, and by him being acceptable, Yahweh has made us also acceptable as fruit unto Him. So with that, I'm going to turn it over as we usually do. I'm going to go to Brother Uriah for any closing statements, words, anything you want to present to the viewers.
I just want to thank Yahweh for the opportunity that He has given us, the body, the keepers of life, to do some research and also, try to present it, to our viewers, and we cherish the moment that Yahweh has given unto us, to do, at least to be partakers of the holy things of Him.
Praise Yah, brother.
That's all, we all walk, and if we fall short, we correct each other.
Right.
We're not about putting down each other or anyone else out there.
No.
Yeah, because we all are flesh, and we fall sometimes, some soft, some hard, but at least we know our brothers and sisters are out there to help us rebound through the Spirit of the Most High.
Praise God. Well said, brother. Thank you for that.
Praise God.
Brother Obadiah.
Oh, Elder, yeah, we just, like my elder said, we're just honored to have this opportunity. It's not a right, it's a privilege. It's an honor to walk before Yahweh.
Oh man.
And also, we're still in unleavened bread, so we just want to continue to search our heart and just walk on before Yahweh, just bearing in mind that Yeshua was the first fruits, and this whole thing is about us focusing on removing the leaven. That's not just during the feast day, but the things that we know is in our heart that we read are about the presumptuous sins and keep us back from secret faults.
Okay.
We read the other day. So just bear these things in mind, and thank you for tuning in. Continue to support it, and praise out for everyone who supports what we're doing, and we're just grateful for this opportunity.
Amen. Thank you, Brother Obadiah. And it's a privilege, and we're privileged to be here, and we don't want to take what we're doing, what Yahweh's given us, for granted. We're very cognizant of that, because Yahweh is a Elohim. He's all-consuming fire, and so you can't play with Him. Don't play with Him. So we don't want to play with Him. We're not. I'm not trying to glorify myself. Uriah is not going to glorify himself. He's not going to glorify himself. We just trying to glorify the Father.
That's right.
You know, who is worthy to be praised. So with that, brother, praise God for you, man. Praise God, brother Obi. Praise God for you, brother Uriah. Appreciate y'all, man, and appreciate y'all, and we just appreciate the families of you brothers and all of everybody who's supporting us. It's not by ourselves, you know. So with that, I guess I will say Shabbat Shalom, and we to all that are viewing, enjoy your feast. You enjoy your feast. Enjoy this week of unleavened bread. Walk holy before Yahweh. Deal with that leaven. It may be difficult. Deal with it. So, but you know what? When you deal with it, let Yahweh take it out. Let Yahweh help you. But you got to talk to Yahweh about it. You know? So with that, Shabbat Shalom, family and brothers and sisters. Until next Sabbath.
Praise Him.
Praise Yahweh.